presentation.
That was the difference. Our problem. The way we played the 30 minutes the second half is the difference in the ball game.
It's the countdown to the NFC Championship. Two bitter rivals. One game to play. Zero time for excuses. It's a Fox NFL special. These Eagles are Rhodes Warriors, and they thoroughly demolished the Lions. Now they've got thunder and lightning running in high gear. And for Pete's sake, they just don't want to lose. Add to that a devastating D, and this flock of birdies can stop anybody. This ain't fourth and a foot. Today, the stakes are even higher. And Troy and company are done playing footsies. Emmett's out to bust a move. And Michael's not taking no for an answer. And with the Dallas D on a bird watch, these boys are ready to bag a big one. It's one game apiece with one more to settle the score. The big one down at Big D. Now, live from Hollywood, the one and only NFL on Fox.
The playoff action continues on the morning after the shocker by the Bay. The city of San Francisco is still reeling from yesterday's loss, while Green Bay anticipates next week's opponent. And who will the Packers play? The Dallas Cowboys, who've been there 3 years in a row, or Philadelphia, a team nobody picked to get this far. And hello, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to this Fox NFL playoff special. And to our brethren back east who are being pounded with that snowstorm, kick up your heels and sip on some hot chocolate and join me here with my partners, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy and D. Hey, the big news for us is that Jimmy is here, and you didn't drive him out of TV, you two?
No, the perception is that we're driving him out of television. We. But I drove him to work today, as a matter of fact.
Who's Heckle and who's Jekyll?
I don't know.
No press conference upcoming yet?
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock down in Miami. Jimmy will be there. At his restaurant.
I love it. We'll be talking about that as well. All right, folks, it's now time to check out what's happening around the NFL. Despite public denials, Seahawks owner Ken Behring told NFL owners last Thursday he wants to move his franchise to Los Angeles unless his stadium situation is drastically improved. Behring is upset that Seattle has committed $300 million to build the Mariners a baseball-only park. Now, on the coaching front, the Lions and Giants decided this past week to retain Wayne Fontes and Dan Reeves, respectively. And regarding the two coaches involved in this afternoon's AFC matchup, speculation continues for the Chiefs' Marty Schottenheimer and the coach, Ted Marchibroda. Even if provided the choice to go to Miami as general manager and coach, Schottenheimer said he will remain in Kansas City. Now, as for Marchibroda, despite the coach's success, he's hearing only lukewarm endorsements from management and might receive only a one-year extension. Okay, let's move to today's contest. The Eagles enter today's contest winners of 6 out of their last 8 games, including last week's surprising blowout of the Detroit Lions. The Cowboys, however, finished up winning just 2 of their final 4. And for more on today's game, Pat Summerall is standing by live in Texas Stadium. And good morning, Pat.
Good morning, JB, and it's cold at Texas Stadium. We had a chance to talk with Ray Rhodes last night after the Eagles arrived, and here's what he had to say about beating Dallas.
Well, first of all, offensively, we have to control the football. We can't have interceptions or turnovers, and our running game has to gel. I mean, that's going to be important for us. If we can run the football effectively, it'll open up our passing game. From a defensive standpoint, we have to take away the big 3, you know, Troy, Emmett, okay, and Michael. I think those guys are the guys that's going to kill you in a football game. We'll have an interesting matchup with Mark McMillan and Williams on the other side, but I think we have to take away their top dogs.
With me, as usual, John Madden. And, John, what's your reaction to what Ray Rhodes said?
I think what Ray Rhodes is saying is what they have to do is exactly what they did the last time they played the Cowboys, specifically in the second half. And what they did is they just got real physical. They were able to run the ball. They ran the ball for 149 yards. They were able to not have any turnovers. And then on defense, I think, again, they have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage. They have to be physical. And when they play the Cowboys, the thing that they want to do is take away Michael Irvin. They're going to double-team him every play. Now, the thing that Ray Rhodes didn't mention, and I think is a big thing here, is they have to worry about their special teams because their punt coverage and their kickoff coverage really wasn't very good this year.
And one of the things Dallas is going to do today is have Deion Sanders back deep returning punts. So we'll be watching that. And we go back to Los Angeles.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Jimmy, let's coattail on what John Madden was talking about. Philadelphia's game plan against Dallas in Week 15 was solid, especially second-half adjustments. Do you think Philly can win with the same game plan?
Well, they'll try to do the same thing. And what they did in holding Dallas to 196 total yards is they double-covered Michael Irvin. They also double-covered Jay Novacek. That left one-on-one coverage with Mark McMillan against Kevin Williams. Now, the key matchup there, Ray Rhodes told me, he said, listen, Mark McMillan is the best cover corner we have. He's just too short to cover Michael Irvin. That's why we put on Kevin Williams, because Mark McMillan is about so tall, and Kevin Williams is about so tall. You know, I look at it, it's like a little chihuahua, you know, nipping at a guy's heels. You know, he's going to be all over Kevin Williams, and that'll be the key matchup.
I think this game's going to be decided by a much bigger dog, and it's a whole group up front. This game's going to be won at the line of scrimmage. This is a classic matchup. Whoever can run the ball will win this football game, and I agree with John Madden. The line of scrimmage is the key to this game. Ricky Waters played extensively last time Philadelphia played Dallas. Garner only carried the ball 2 times. Last week, he averaged over 6 yards a carry. Ray Rhodes kicking himself in the rear end will get Charlie Garner involved today.
Since we're talking about dogs, that's how the Cowboys played the last time they played. In the second half, they played like dogs. If I say to you 10, 12, and 0, 10 yards is how much Emmitt Smith got in the second half. 12 yards is how much Troy Aikman threw for, and 0 yards is the number of receiving yards Michael Irvin got. It's pretty good stuff, isn't it?
You're a computer chip.
I am amazing. But John Madden is exactly right, and so is Ray Rhodes. They are going to have to play these guys once again like the Packers did yesterday to the 49ers. Street fight them. Get in that alley cat kind of stuff, you know, dog stuff.
Hey, let me hear that chihuahua sound again.
I've never seen Jimmy do that, isn't he?
Jimmy's fired up.
Good indication. He's moving on.
All right, folks, believe it or not, we've still got more to come your way. As a matter of fact, when we come back, Pam Oliver takes a look at the attitude of the Dallas Cowboys. They've waited an entire year to redeem themselves. Guess what? Now's the time to step up to the challenge.
In all sincerity, I get very excited about the playoffs. I look forward to it. I like the finality of it. I like the fact that the winners go on and the losers are done. And to me, that's what it's all about.
Divisional Playoff Special is brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. By Motel 6, when you want a clean, comfortable room for the lowest prices of any national chain, stay with Motel 6. By Subway, what a sandwich. And by MoneyGram, the better way to wire money. Next time you wire money, use MoneyGram.
One half of the championship picture is set as Bill Cowher motivated his squad yesterday. Bam Morris, the most motivated, 106 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns as the Steelers beat Buffalo by 19 and move on to the next round. So here's the picture. Pittsburgh will either travel to Kansas City to face the Chiefs, or they'll be at home to play the Indianapolis Colts. In the NFC, the tone was set early in Green Bay's shocking win over San Francisco. The worst team in forcing turnovers was Green Bay. This on the first San Francisco play as Craig Newsome picks up the Adam Walker fumble and scores the touchdown. Brett Favre, sensational yesterday, 21 of 28, 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. That one to Tremura. Reggie and the Packers move on to the NFC title game. And Green Bay will either travel to Dallas to face the Cowboys or will be at home on the frozen tundra to play the Eagles. One guy who will do everything to make it Green Bay versus Dallas is Emmitt Smith. Emmitt broke John Riggins' record for most touchdowns in a season by getting into the end zone 25 times. Back with more in a moment.
Serving up another great catch. Red Lobster presents the catch of the day. Week 18 in the NFL saw receivers come up with heavenly highlights under playoff pressure. But stay tuned to see who made the catch of the day. And the Colts grabbed a win in San Diego.
Dawkins, got it! He scored!
It's the Week 18 catch of the day. And for a great catch every day,
Fox NFL Sunday. You know, it's been a tumultuous season for the Cowboys with many surprising turns and disappointments. However, they still won their division and are in position to pursue the title they once held. Fox's Pam Oliver is live in Irving, Texas for today's game. And Pam, no question, these Cowboys definitely feel the need to prove something.
Oh, I think you can definitely say that, JB. You can say what you want about the Cowboys sort of backing into the playoffs. The only thing that matters to them is that they are here, and despite a whole lot of commotion that surrounded them all season. Now, they're the first to admit that they did struggle late, but as far as Dallas and their Super Bowl hopes are concerned, today begins a whole new season.
All that agonizing and talking about it and chastising about our coach and et cetera, 4th and 1 and all this stuff, we're still in the playoff with home field advantage.
What it comes down to is you play 16 games, it's a long grind, long season. How it shakes down is that we ended up having what we wanted.
So take that. Despite falling off their pedestal hard, the Cowboys are still right where they want to be, at home and possibly 3 games away from redemption. But oh, the mood swings it took to get here.
I've always said, regardless of how good a football team you have or how good a season you have, there's always a period where a team struggles. And unfortunately for this team, it struggled late in the season.
So you kind of hit a point where you go through the ups, you go through the downs, but then it's a stale point, and sometimes it's tough to deal with.
Well, it's really been probably the first time that we've really been on an emotional roller coaster around here.
And what a ride. An 8-1 start came crashing with the thrashing by you-know-who. 2 wins over a couple of AFC powerhouses restored luster and shine. A second loss to Washington brought embarrassment and ridicule. And then came a coach's call that will forever live in infamy. 4th and 1, twice.
What comes to mind when you think of Philadelphia?
A great defensive team and probably 4th and 1.
How many times have you been reminded about that 4th and 1 with Philadelphia coming in?
Let's set it now. It's 4th and a foot. Now, 4th and a 1, I wouldn't have gone for it. There is a difference called 2 feet. The difference in 4th and 1 and 4th and a foot. Yeah, I've been reminded from every newspaper in the country.
What are you expecting from Philadelphia?
I think they'll do a lot of the same things they did against us in the second game. Just because we lost the last time we faced them does not mean that we go into this ballgame without confidence.
When you get there, all said and done, that whistle blow at the end of the Super Bowl, and you come back in that locker room, there's a 50-something guys, man, and those coaches and that owner in that locker room for that split minute where, you know, the media's not in, nobody's in there. And you go in there and everybody look around, and the coach stand up and say, hey, congratulations, you're world champs. Even now, I get goosebumps, man. There's nothing like it to say. Mission accomplished.
I guess you guys could ultimately have the last laugh on this whole thing if you get this business done.
If we take care of business, we can always look back over our shoulder and keep our chin up, tote our nose up, and just say, okay, we did it. Despite what you people thought, and despite what you people thought about our coach, and et cetera, et cetera.
You know I'm keeping the faith.
And the key words there is if we can take care of business. Now, this could be a golden opportunity for the Cowboys. And look for Troy Aikman to kind of be pumped for this game. He told me he was absolutely drained after the regular season. But come playoff time, he is excited. And, JB, the thing he says he loves most about the playoffs is the finality of it all. Loser, be gone. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and we look forward to your reports today. Stay warm there. You know, Pam used the words 3 games to redemption. 3 out of the 4 teams remaining in the playoffs, Dallas has beaten. A sigh of relief for the Cowboys or pressure, Howie?
Well, I think it's a sigh of relief, but I think, you know, JB, it all comes down to this. The Dallas Cowboys are the best team in professional football talent-wise. How will they respond? You know how Ray Rhodes will respond. You know his team will come in fired up and well prepared. The question is, if the Dallas Cowboys respond to the challenge, they will win this game going away. If not, they are in for a dogfight. This is going to be a fight, and we're going to find out a lot in the first round.
We're going to find out a lot about the coaching in this game as well. You know, when John Blake, the defensive line coach for the Dallas Cowboys, left and went to the University of Oklahoma, he caused some adjustments to the staff. Jim Eddy normally is in the press box. He's looking at the blocking schemes, the running game of the opponent, helping defensive coordinator Dave Campo. Now he'll be on the sideline doing the signaling. And it'll be interesting to watch the Cowboys and see how they adjust to the outstanding running game and the blocking schemes of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, you know, yesterday I talked about big sticks, how my daddy told us to tote a big stick when you go fight in your neighbor's yard. Well, my attorney, Cadillac Jack's got a mule named Cajun Nightmare. And he went down there one day with me, and he had this big club, and the first thing he did, he hit that mule, Cajun Nightmare, right upside the head. I said, what the heck did you do that for, Jack? He said, get his attention. You know what happened? Philadelphia.
You mean to tell me all I needed, JB?
Philadelphia got Dallas's attention.
All I needed to do was bring this stick in.
Get his attention.
They got their, let me finish this intelligent response here. But they got their attention, Philadelphia. They even fourth in a foot. They got their attention. Green Bay, when they upset the 49ers, yes, they got their attention. Great football teams just need to focus, and I think that's what the Cowboys will do today.
Bradshaw is truly in a class by himself.
All right, folks. Cadillac Jack. That's pretty good.
We have got more to come. I don't know whether we'll have more of that from Terry, but we will, in fact, take a look at today's head coaches. Barry Switzer, the Cowboys, finished with the NFC's best record. Ray Rhodes, Coach of the Year, got the Eagles all the way here. Back with more in a moment. The playmaker, Michael Irvin, was fourth in the NFL with 1,603 yards receiving, including 10 touchdowns. And cornerback Bobby Taylor of the Eagles will have to keep a close eye on Irvin. He's only a rookie, but Taylor helped limit Irvin to just 3 receptions in their previous matchup. Deion Sanders is known as prime time, and today's game is exactly that. Relatively quiet since his arrival in Dallas, Deion thrives on the playoff atmosphere. Ricky Waters backed up his offseason talk with impressive numbers this year. He rushed for over 1,200 yards and had a total of 12 touchdowns. And we'll be back in Hollywood after this. The Philadelphia Eagles defense being introduced to the crowd in Dallas. There's Kurt Gouveia, the ex-Washington Redskin, playing linebacker. And, of course, not a warm reception for the Eagles defense. All right, we come back inside of Studio 7 for our final comments, and we start with Terry.
Thank you, JB. You know, if you look at this game, I automatically go to the quarterbacks. And Rodney Peete, coming off of 3 touchdown passes last week, has to duplicate that performance. It's going to be difficult, may need help in the turnover area. Howie?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the thing is this. Barry Switzer said players win the games, not the coach. I agree, Barry, players do win the games, but you have to put those players in the best possible position to compete and win. If that's done today, the Dallas Cowboys win.
Howie, if I was talking to this team before we took the field, I would plant some positive seeds. I'd say, listen, we're the best team. We've got the most talent. Protect the football and make plays. And I don't know who's going to make a play. It may be Michael, may be Kevin. Deion, you might get a pick. Troy, you make the throw. But make the plays. You go out there and protect the football and make the plays, and we'll win this ball game. Let's go.
Hey, he's getting ready.
I'm telling you,
man. He's getting ready. He's getting ready.
Monday, the press conference is Monday.
Hey,
I want to hit somebody.
Stick around for halftime because we've got Eric Clemens. He's got a report coming your way from Kansas City. And the guy that Terry has been kissing the toes of all year long, Brett Favre, league's MVP, he'll be joining us. Cowboys offense being introduced to the home crowd in Irving. Enjoy the game, folks.
You're watching a Fox NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff.
Plains, the Dallas Cowboys await a familiar foe. Head coach Ray Rhodes has brought a vision back to Philadelphia, unseen in recent years. For this unheralded group, there's a sense of restored confidence that is now brewing in the city of brotherly love. The Eagles draw their strength from not only a dominating defense, but a renewed running game. Last week, they manhandled the Detroit Lions, while today an anxious opponent awaits their arrival. Showcasing the league's most star-studded cast, the Dallas Cowboys began this season as expected. But after several setbacks, there were suddenly questions that needed answers. When Dallas came up short twice on 4th and inches, the sight of a divisional title remained cloudy. But America's team did capture their 4th straight NFC East title. Now they set their sights on a much anticipated postseason journey. A very cold day at Texas Stadium, but a beautiful sunlit day as well, as the Eagles and the Cowboys battle in this playoff game. Pat Summerall here with John Madden, and there's something about this match, John, whether you're Eagles or Cowboys, about the finality. It all began back in July, and now one goes home.
Yeah, and I think this is the great thing about this weekend, where you have, 4 of these games. I think it's the biggest weekend in the NFL year, and it's great because the finality you talk about, we all know that the winner goes on, the loser goes home, and that's it. But the other thing is you can really make it a 3-game season. You know that when you get to this position, you can say, if we win our next 3 games, we are world champions.
Nobody expected the Eagles to be here in this championship game, least of all those of us who follow the game. What have they done, and what do they have to do to continue?
I think that Ray Rhodes has done an outstanding job. Ray Rhodes and his entire organization and all his coaches and their players, and he brought toughness to them. I mean, this is a blue-collar team. And what Ray Rhodes says we have to do is we can't turn the ball over. We have to be physical. We have to be able to run the ball. And I think running the ball doesn't just mean Ricky Waters. I think Charlie Garner is going to have a big part of this. In fact, Ray Rhodes said last night, of the first 12 plays today, Charlie Garner is going to get 4 of them.
What about Dallas? People expected them to be here. Have they surprised you?
Well, I mean, they just, stumble a little at the end there, but I still think that Dallas is the best team in football, but they have to go out and play like that. You talk about the triplets, about Troy Aikman. He has to throw to Michael Irvin. Emmitt Smith has to run the ball. And as Emmitt was saying yesterday, though, he said, the Cowboys will go as the front 5 go. And I think that's the thing. I mean, you can talk about that Troy has to throw it, Emmitt has to run it, Michael has to catch it. But I'll tell you, the first thing they have to do is they have to control the line of scrimmage with this offensive line.
All right, John. Pam Oliver's down on the field. Let's go down to Pam.
Well, Pat, I talked to Cowboys defensive end Charles Haley, who was out of this game because of injury, and he said the main thing that scares him the most is perhaps the Cowboys coming out a little bit too content, especially with the 49ers losing yesterday. He also worries that if Philadelphia jumps on the Cowboys early, they may not be able to recover. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. As I said earlier, it's very cold down in the teens early this morning, but it's going to warm up as the day progresses for Philadelphia against Dallas. But with the wind chill, it feels down around 0. Wind north, 10 to 15 miles an hour. It's supposed to warm up as the day goes on. Chris Boniol, the kickoff for Dallas. The Eagles won the toss. Charlie Garner back deep. Garner at the 12, lost it. Ball's loose. Garner got it back. Here's the Eagle offense. Rodney Peete opens at quarterback. 9-3 his record as a starter. Last week against Detroit, he was outstanding. In front of him, Brooks, McIntyre, McKenzie, Boatswain, and Antone Davis. Ricky Waters and Charlie Garner, the 2 runners. Brett Barnett and Calvin Williams wide, and Ed West is the tight end. Tight end left. In fact, they go with 2 tight ends. No gain. Russell Maryland opens at left defensive tackle. That was Robert Jones who made the stop. And let's check out those Dallas linebackers. Darren Smith, Robert Jones, and Dixon Edwards. Godfrey Miles had been in the middle. Jones is back. Brown, Brock Marion, Drew, Darren Woodson, and Deion Sanders in the secondary. Brown goes to left cornerback. Deion Sanders to the right. James Saxon and Charlie Garner are the 2 backs. This is Garner. Garner wide right, got about 3. Tony Tolbert
Well, the Eagles are one of those teams that script their first 15 plays, and like we just said, Ray Rhodes told us last night that he wanted Charlie Garner to carry 4 of the first 12 plays because he thinks if he has a breakaway player, his best breakaway player on offense is Charlie Garner.
The Eagles go with 3 wide receivers. Rob Carpenter joins the other 2 of them to the left. Rodney Peete back to throw and fire complete to Calvin Williams. He's hit down hard.
Now there is a tackle.
Darren Smith.
Darren Smith comes up and makes that play pattern. If he doesn't make this, this is a first down. Because Rodney Peete throws it a little short of the first down. The ball is caught there. Now watch Darren Smith come up right here. Boom. And that is the end of the forward progress of Calvin Williams.
Quick reverse. Deion Sanders back deep by himself. Hutton the punter. Short kick. Sanders going to let it bounce. And out of bounds. At about the 38-yard line, 37 make it. Dallas takes over. Here comes their offensive unit. Led by Troy Aikman, number 8. 7-1 in postseason as a starter. In front of him, that offensive line that John Madden was talking about, Tuinei Newton, Derek Kennard, Allen, and Williams. Emmitt Smith, Darrell Johnston, Kevin Williams, and Michael Irvin, the wide receivers, and Jay Novacek back at tight end just 2 weeks after knee surgery. Aikman leads the offense. And he is back to throw it. Caught. Kevin Williams midfield. He has to be a factor for them to be able to move it. 13-yard pickup, first down. The Eagle defensive line, Mamula, Dixon, Andy Harmon, and William Fuller, their leader. Thomas, Gobea, and Romanowski. And in the secondary, Bobby Taylor, who will shadow Irvin, Jackson, Zordich, and Mark McMillan. 1st and 10 Dallas in Eagle territory at their 49. Aikman will throw again. Complete Novacek. About 8.
There's an amazing story, isn't it, Pat? Jay Novacek, just 2 weeks ago, he has knee surgery. They have the bye week. He comes back. He practices this week. I was out there at practice the other day watching him, and he was running, I think, better than he was before he had the knee surgery.
The amazing thing to me when we were at practice was it was cold. I mean, really cold. Everybody else is all bundled up, and he's in shorts.
Well, that's the type of guy that wears shorts in that kind of weather, the type of guy that comes back in 2 weeks.
Emmitt Smith, first carry, gets only a yard.
Yeah, and that's where they have to control. We're talking about the offensive line, and most of the runs of Emmitt Smith are in the inside. So you have to control this part. Boom, 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 right here if you're going to get any running. The white jerseys have to knock the green jerseys back, and they didn't do it.
Didn't do it.
You see, they got penetration in the middle. That's the thing that killed the Cowboys the last time in their running game, especially in the second half of the game.
Ron Stone comes in and lines up. That's Darrell Johnston, and he won't get it.
That's the same thing that happened again in the second half of that Eagle game. That short yardage, again, you know, they didn't do it to Emmitt Smith. They tried to foul him up, but you got to control right here. You have to control this line of scrimmage right here. Again, they get penetration. They're going to try and bring Darrell Johnston in as a changeup, but again, they get the penetration. They don't get any trap, and they don't get half the Eagles block.
They don't push anybody back. John Chet back deep to punt for Dallas. Rob Carpenter back for the Eagles. Jets kick is a good one. Carpenter signals fair catch down at about the 14. That punt was not as good as it looked when it took off. Only 26 yards. 0-0 in this divisional playoff. The Eagles and the Cowboys.
Did you Regular or decaf?
BM, solutions for a small planet. By Honda, who offers an impressive family of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans. And by Coors Light, grab a silver bullet and let the mountain come to you. Coors Light, tap the Rockies.
Back at Texas Stadium, 0-0 in the divisional playoff game. The Eagles ball at their own 15. Rodney Peete back to throw. Incomplete. Intended for Reggie Johnson.
I think even though the Eagles have poor field position here, the thing that Ray Rhodes always talks about with Rodney Peete is just manage the game. Don't have any turnovers. And the thing that he worries most about Rodney Peete is Rodney Peete getting frustrated and forcing the ball. He said that's the thing that he can't do. And when you get down in this area, you sure as heck better not force it.
Waters and Saxon, the two backs. Cowboys show blitz. Handoff is to Ricky Waters, and Brock Marion comes up to make the stop. Ray Rhodes, we were talking about, you were talking about just a second ago. What a job he's done with the Eagles. He was named, of course, Coach of the Year. And the more you talk to him, the more you realize how efficient and what a job he's done.
Well, you know, he took his team down to Vero Beach, Florida, and he said he wanted to go down there and train like it was a heavyweight fight. Take the players away, get them down there and have a training camp. And he said, the thing we have to do, we can't have open fists in this game, that we have to come in here with our fist balled today.
Peete chased by Leon Lett and down. Peete sacked by Lett. Back at the 6.
And with Charles Haley out, if they're going to get a big play, if they're going to get a pass rusher, it has to be Leon Lett. Here's Leon Lett here. He's working against Guy McIntyre. Now you see the big cat there. He just starts and he just throws McIntyre. You see he took that left hand and he just took McIntyre and just put him right out of the ground.
Comes out of the end zone. Deion Sanders is deep. Sanders handles. Inside the 20. Tripped up by Barry Wilburn. 21-yard return by number 21.
You can tell this is a big game. This is the first time the Cowboys have used Deion Sanders as the punt returner. And you always use your best player as a punt returner in the biggest games. That's the definition of what this game is. Say, when he gets that ball, he is exciting.
The officials are having a meeting midfield.
Well, they're saying, hey, do you see the moves that Deion made? Although two of them don't have their hats on. When they don't have their hats on, that means something happened out of bounds.
Jerry Austin is the referee.
That's hitting out of bounds.
Personal foul, number 43 of the kicking team, going out of bounds to hit a receiving player during the run back, 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
Greg Briggs.
And anytime you see an official with his hat off, that's where he throws his hat when stuff happens out of bounds. See right there, he hit him when he was out of bounds. He didn't let him get back in.
0-0 score. 54 left in the first quarter at Texas Stadium. 0-0 score. The Cowboys have the ball starting in Eagle territory. That's something the Eagles are pretty used to. And today is no exception. The Cowboys need to make something happen with this kind of field position. Aikman, flag on the play. Aikman throws across the middle, incomplete. Michael Irvin was the intended receiver.
You know, the Cowboys, I think, have to make this game a physical game because that's what the Eagles want to do, and they have to out-physical them. And the first time they had the ball, I was shocked that they felt that they had to trick them.
Number 59 of the defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Mike Mamula offside.
Yeah, here's Mike Mamula right up here. Now, Troy Aikman, watch his head and see if maybe with his hard count that doesn't draw him offside. You see when Mamula jumped? It was when Troy Aikman made that, boom, he made that head move, and then Mamula was reading Troy Aikman's head. And
1st and 5 at the Eagle 38. Emmett Smith still on his feet inside the 25, about the the 23. Finally stopped by Mark McMillan.
Yeah, that's what they have to do. Get in there behind Larry Allen. Get in there behind Eric Williams. Follow Darrell Johnson. Get that type of block. You see, get this type of guy. Get them going sideways and get them knocked back and come off and get on the next guy. And then just make runs like that and just keep going at them and spinning and running. And you don't have to trick them with plays like going to the Moose on 3rd down.
1st and 10 at the 23 for Dallas. Clock running with just over 8 minutes left in the first quarter. No score. Aikman back to throw it. Lofts it out to Smith. Nobody's covering him. Emmett Smith down close to a 1st down. Greg Jackson knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah, that's what you can get because, on that side that he throws it to is a side that they're doubling Michael Irvin. You see, they're doubling Michael Irvin down here. So on that side, Michael Irvin runs his guys off, and then they run in behind him with Emmett Smith.
Emmett looked as if he expected to get hit and covered up the ball.
Yeah, now here's Michael Irvin, you see, and he's going to run off. He really runs off 2 guys. Yeah. In fact, it's a form of a pick. But he runs 2 guys off, and then that opens it up for Emmett Smith.
They did get a 1st down, Aikman. A lot of time. Trots out of bounds at the 10.
Yeah, real good coverage on that one on Michael Irvin, Pat, because it was a bootleg. He was bootlegging to his right. He had Michael Irvin in the end zone, and he couldn't throw it to him. You have to give that one to Bobby Taylor. And in fact, here's Michael Irvin here. Here's Bobby Taylor, and the bootleg is going to be coming. Irvin is coming here. Then he's trying to get back to the corner. You see, Taylor has great coverage on him. You see, he's between Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman. So Troy Aikman couldn't throw the ball. That's who he was trying to get it to. He had to run out of bounds.
2nd and 7. Emmett Smith down near the 5, about the 6. Ronnie Dixon made the stop.
And see, now they're starting to get a little movement in that middle. Remember earlier when, and the first time they had the ball, the Eagles were getting penetration. Now the Cowboy offensive line is handling that middle so that Emmett Smith can either take it to the right and leave it there or take it to the right and cut it back.
And here comes a pretty good test. 3rd down, where the Eagles can really dig in. 3rd and about 4.
Yeah, this is a passing situation.
Emmett Smith is behind Aikman off to his right. Incomplete. And no flag.
I think you have to say Bobby Taylor, he's a rookie. He made 2 big plays on this drive. The first one was a 1st down play. They tried to get the ball to Michael Irvin on the bootleg. Here's the 3rd down play. Here they are up here. They're locked in, man-to-man coverage. See him give him a little punch. And then he turned, and he just got back there, and he got between Michael Irvin and the ball.
One thing about it, he's just as tall as Michael Irvin. He's about 6'3".
And the thing that he said last night, and Ray Rhodes said all the time, you have to be physical with Michael Irvin.
Bonio hits the field goal. That's 1 for 1 in the playoffs, but that's his 26th in a row, Bonio. That one from 24 yards out, and Dallas leads 3-0. 3-0 Cowboys over the Eagles. Bonio set to kick off. Charlie Garner is deep for Philadelphia. Kick short. Garner at the 12. Out to about the 33. And right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's send you to our Hollywood studio and James Brown.
At great moments in Texas Stadium history, 24 years ago this week, the Cowboys and the Niners, 2nd straight NFC Championship game. John Brody's pass intercepted by George Andre. That helped the Cowboys set up this Calvin Hill touchdown dive. Cowboys win it, go on to victory also in Super Bowl VI. Let's take it back to Pat and John.
And back at Texas Stadium, 1st and 10 Eagles. Garner and Saxon are the 2 running backs. Garner hit behind the line of scrimmage, broke 1 tackle, and got about 5 yards.
And I'll tell you, if the Eagles are going to do anything, they're going to have to get Leon Lett blocked because he's raising havoc there. I mean, they were just lucky on that he didn't get that thing tackled. But you talk, this is a way to play defensive tackle. Here's a ball you want to control and get back to that position. Watch Leon Lett do it. I mean, he just takes it. He just runs right by and pushes Guy McIntyre right into his own running back.
He got about 4, 2nd and 6. Waters is the setback. Waters in motion, and Pete back to throw. Incomplete. Knocked down, intended for Ed West.
You see how cool Dixon Edwards was on that?
He slapped it away.
Yeah, he just kind of stood there like he was in his zone, and the ball came, and he just went boom and just knocked it down like complete disdain for that pigskin.
Word from the Cowboys is that Emmitt Smith has bruised ribs, and whether or not he'll return is still a question.
I would bet that Emmitt Smith will return.
3 wide receivers, 3rd and 6, Eagles. Out quickly to Waters, and he's knocked out of bounds short of a first down, I believe.
And that was one of those zone blitzes. You see that, Pat? They came in a blitz, and they dropped Chad Hennings out. That's really a sight with these zone blitzes now, where these big defensive tackles are backing out. Chad Hennings is about 300 pounds, and you see him. Watch the middle here, and watch how the tackle block starts out. You see him right here. Here's Chad Hennings right here playing in the middle.
That's a good play by Larry Brown to knock him out of bounds short. Sanders lets it bounce, and the Eagles down it.
They're still playing out there.
Here comes Emmitt Smith. So that word about those bruised ribs, the question has been answered already.
NFC Divisional Playoff Special is brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead.
Cold in Texas, but not on the playing field. If you can move around, you're just fine. Dallas leads 3-0. The Eagles shift their defense. Aikman goes back to throw and throws outside. Pass is caught by Kevin Williams.
That's going to be a big matchup today. All day we're going to see Kevin Williams out here against Mark McMillan. Now, Mark McMillan is a little guy, but Kevin Williams is a little guy too. And Mark McMillan is a heck of a cover corner. It's just that he's only about 5'7" and 145 pounds. But I'll tell you, he will battle you.
That's just a good throw.
Yeah, and that was the thing that Ray Rhodes was saying. We talk about matchups with Michael Irvin and Bobby Taylor. He said, but Kevin Williams is going to have a pretty good matchup out there with Mark McMillan today.
Aikman going deep for Irvin. And the pass is picked off by McMillan. McMillan still on his feet and cut down by Novacek. Finally.
And I'll tell you, Bobby Taylor was there again. It was Bobby Taylor who had the coverage on Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin wanted to work on Bobby Taylor. The last time they played, Bobby Taylor, the rookie, got the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. That really bothered Michael Irvin, but you're going to see him. Here he is. Bobby Taylor again is on him. He's number 21. He's covering him. He's going to go with him in a stop and go. He tries to get beyond him. Bobby Taylor runs with him. And watch, Taylor's going to get his hand up there. See his hand up there? He knocks the ball up in the air, and then Mark McMillan gets it. Great coverage by Bobby Taylor again.
Waters. Ricky Waters gets it inside the Dallas 40 to about the 38. Robert Jones made the stop.
If Ricky Waters would say, just hand it to me, give it to me.
That's all they have to do.
Now you look at their first 3 possessions, they had all 3 and outs, but they didn't have good starting position either. This time, they have good starting field position. Again, Bobby Taylor has made 3 excellent cover plays in his first quarter.
And mark down that turnover. The Eagles have been able to take advantage of them. That's Garner. Garner gets a couple of yards, maybe.
You see the guy that was up there in force, and maybe the most underrated player on this Cowboy team for a few years, I think, is Larry Brown.
playing better since Deion Sanders arrived.
Well, and he has to play better because Deion Sanders is going to take one guy on one side, and most teams are going to stay away from Deion Sanders. So when you're going to throw the ball away from Deion Sanders to an outside receiver, it's usually to Larry Brown.
3rd and 4. 3 wide receivers. Rodney Peete fires. A pass is caught by Fred Barnett inside the Dallas 20, about the 18-yard line. Scott Case tripped him up. Barnett has really come on of late.
You're going to see Barnett up here, and he's going to run a slant and get hit right in here. So he starts in the outside. It's a zone defense, and he just gets caught right there, right in the middle. In fact, I don't know what Larry Brown stepped up on, but as Fred Barnett went to go in a slant, Larry Brown came up to the outside.
First down, Philadelphia at the Dallas 18.
This is what Ray Rhodes said last night. He said he wants to turn the crowd against the Cowboys.
Rodney Peete gets to Garner. Caught from behind by Lett, and then he got some help.
And Rodney Peete is really upset on that one because they didn't get the ball in there soon enough, and he darn near got caught for not having enough.
That's 13 plays. Charlie Garner has got 4 rushes. That's what Ray Rhodes hoped he'd be able to accomplish.
Yeah, that was in the script, and he was hoping of those 4 plays that Charlie Garner would break one for a long run.
3 wide receivers, 2nd and long. Peete back, hands to Ricky Waters. Waters stopped short of the 10-yard line by Woodson and Brock Marion at about the 12. Brock Marion comes out with the ball, but Waters was down.
Ricky Waters is probably one of the most excitable players in the National Football League. And he gets excited with himself and his teammates, and in that period, if things don't go well, he'll pout a little too.
Yeah, sometimes it gets to be a detriment.
Well, they're paying him a lot of money, and they're paying him a lot of money to win games, and they're paying him the most money to win big games. He wants the ball.
He's the deep back on 3rd and about 4. Peete rolls out right. Close to it. Looks like about 2 feet short.
This is going to be an interesting call. I'll tell you what, Ricky Waters did get a pretty good block on Tony Tolbert, and that let Peete get to the outside. This is going to be interesting because here it is. It's Rodney Peete against Darren Woodson. You would think that Woodson would win most of those battles.
He did.
He hit him and he stopped him. Ray Rhodes says, let's talk about this one.
That's close to the end of the quarter. It might be, but they were signaling also for a timeout.
Yeah, well,
it is the end of the quarter.
Yeah, he doesn't want a timeout because this is an automatic timeout.
So it's the end of the quarter with the score Dallas 3, Philadelphia nothing, but the Eagles close. 3 of the biggest names in Hollywood get together. You get one of the most explosive action films to ever hit the screen. Sylvester Stallone, Sandra Bullock, and Wesley Snipes star in a world broadcast premiere, Demolition Man, on the Fox Tuesday night movie. Field goal team is in for Philadelphia. Gary Anderson with Tommy Hutton holding. Anderson has been almost automatic, and he still is almost automatic. That's good. And we have a tie at 3. That was the first play of the second quarter. 3-3 tie.
Divisional Playoff Special is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. Make it a Bud Light. By American Express. And by Reebok.
Texas Stadium packed for this divisional playoff game between the Eagles and Cowboys. Philadelphia about to kick off. Gary Anderson, Kevin Williams, and Brock Marion back deep. It's going to be Williams at the 9. 30. Hit down by Mark Woodard.
Yeah, we talked about Ray Rhodes and taking his Philadelphia Eagles down to Vero Beach and like a heavyweight fight training. And this first quarter has been kind of like a heavyweight fight.
Like the first couple of rounds.
Few rounds, yeah, where you're kind of feeling each other out. Both teams look awfully tentative. They look conservative offensively. Look like they're kind of afraid to make mistakes, and that's a big thing about these playoff teams too. That these playoff games, that anytime you do make a mistake, it's magnified.
That's Emmett Smith, and he's got a big hole, and Emmett Smith's got a Dallas first down. Deion Sanders was in at wide receiver. Greg Jackson, the safety man, had to make the stop on Emmett Smith.
You know, that's the one thing they learned last time, that if they put Deion Sanders outside, that it's a little easier running inside, because that gets the secondary off, because they're worried about doubling Michael Irvin, and they're worried about Deion Sanders out on that other side. And look at some of these holes this can create.
Darryl Johnston, the great block.
A little of it was Deion Sanders. A lot of it was Darryl Johnston in the offensive line.
Aikman again to Emmett Smith, who's hit behind the line. That's Mark Gunn.
Yeah, Rodney Pete's leaving the field. Remember that third down play, Pat, where Darren Woodson, he was trying to get that first down, and Darren Woodson gave him a shot, and it looked like that shot that Darren Woodson gave him could have been right on his right shoulder.
Plus, he had the flu and was weak all week long, even though they did go to Florida. He arrived with the flu.
Yeah, but I think that was the shot that third down shot.
2nd and 9. Johnston was spit out wide to the left. The pass goes to Emmett Smith. He shakes the first tackler. And Emmett down to the Philadelphia 35.
It was a great decision by Troy Aikman, because he got Emmett Smith on Kurt Gouveia. Kurt Gouveia is usually a good defender. And there you see Gouveia is there. He has a hold of him. In fact, Gouveia had a hold of his jersey from behind. Emmett Smith is so powerful and so strong that even if you do that, that doesn't even slow him up. That once he got the step on Kurt Gouveia, then he was able to break it.
1st and 10, Dallas at the Eagle 35. 3-3 tie. Aikman again gives to Emmett Smith, and Emmett Smith gets good yardage down inside the 30. This time stopped by Gouveia at about the 28.
Yeah, Gouveia stopped him after he was blocked by Moose Johnston. Watch this. This is the thing that they get. They get this power. Here it is. They get the lead, and here he comes on Gouveia. And you see right there the movement that he gets. Now, if you can get a lead block like that and blocking like that on that side, look what happened. Look, you get the double team, then you get the great lead block. They just knock things down. You see Nate Newton? He just knocked his guy right on his back.
And that's what you were talking about. That's what they had to do. Here's Johnson. Close to a first down. A little bit short.
Yeah, I mean, now they remind you of the Dallas Cowboys. You can see they're getting Randall Cunningham ready over there. What they're doing is they're putting some air in his helmet. They got those air things, and they pump them up to get the, that tight fit.
Rodney Pete got kicked in the head, so they've taken him into the locker room to check him. Whether or not he'll be able to return is still a question.
And Randall Cunningham didn't look like he was ready to play. In fact, his wife had a baby this week in Las Vegas, and he didn't get back until yesterday's practice.
Emmett Smith gets the Dallas first down before he's stopped by Greg Jackson.
This is the thing that we were talking about, though, Pat. Watch his offensive line. Just watch these guys here. There's Nate Newton, and he starts with Mark Tuinei, and when Big Nate gets stuff going backwards, it's just going backwards. Eric Williams brings his guy and flops him all the way from the other side. This Dallas Cowboy offensive line is starting to take this game over right now.
Dallas has a first down at the Eagle 21. Deion Sanders is in the game. Now he's lined up in the slot position to the right. Now he's coming on a reverse. Sanders gets away from one man. He's got some room now. Sanders touchdown. From 21 yards away.
That's his first touchdown of the year. You're going to see him here. Again, he comes in here. They start in motion. Now they fake the ball to Emmitt Smith. Dion starts on the reverse. Then he stops the reverse, and he reverses back the other way on his own. Got a little block with Bobby Taylor there from Michael Irvin.
Bonio's extra point is good, and it's 10-3 Cowboys. That is why they brought Deion Sanders here, to make some things happen. That's the first rushing touchdown of his career.
First, you go here, fake here, then you take Deion Sanders, bring him back here. He doesn't like what he sees here, so he just goes back that way. So you have a reverse and then a reverse of a reverse. You see reverse, you start, you fake the ball, then you hand on the reverse, then you have a guy like Deion Sanders go back against the grain, picked up 2 blocks, one by Emmitt Smith, the other one by Michael Irvin.
Garner fields Bonio's kickoff, and he is hit at about the 23 and knocked backwards by David Lang.
This team is fired up now. Again, this is Deion Sanders' run, but Emmitt Smith had a lot to do with getting the ball down there, and then the offensive line had a lot to do with getting him in position so Deion Sanders could dance like this.
Randall Cunningham is in at quarterback for the Eagles.
You say you wonder how ready Randall Cunningham is to play. They went down to Vero Beach. Randall Cunningham's wife had a baby boy this week in Las Vegas. He missed 3 days of practice, got back yesterday.
They start with 2 tight ends. The handoff is to Ricky Waters. Waters gets good yardage, close to first down yardage.
Yeah, we were talking about the Cowboys, though, and how, you know, they have Troy Aikman, they have Michael Irvin, they have Emmitt Smith, but it all goes to the offensive line. And this drive right here, I know that Deion Sanders made a great run, Emmitt Smith made runs, but that drive there was the offensive line of the Cowboys.
Second and very short for Randall Cunningham and his Eagle offensive unit. 2nd and 1. Waters and Saxon behind Cunningham. Barnett was the man in motion. Ricky Waters gets the Eagle first down, or very, very close to it. Maybe when they mark it, I still think, yeah, he has it.
Yeah, what they're doing now is they're doubling Leon Lett. They know that that Guy McIntyre isn't going to be able to handle Leon Lett on the run. So what they're going to do, if they're going to get anything in there, they're going to have to double him.
We were talking to Big Leon yesterday. He was saying he's 6'6", and his weight fluctuates up and down. He's about 295, about as high as he's been, and he's playing well. Cunningham swings it out to Waters and broke 1 tackle, taken down by Larry Brown.
You know, in fact, they're going to double him every time and then get away from him. We're talking about Leon Lett here. Just watch. In fact, they're going to end up really at the end of the play. They have like 3 guys around him, you know, because they are not going to let him get the penetration, and that's the way to do it. I mean, that's smart by the Eagles. If the guy's giving you trouble, double him, stop him, and make one of the other guys pick up the slack.
2 tight ends, 2nd down at the 40. And the handoff is to Garner, who with a good second effort got close to a first down, stopped by Darren Smith.
You know, Charlie Garner is only 5'9" and about 185 pounds, but he runs inside very well, too. And in fact, we were saying last night that what he likes to do is run inside early and then draw the defense in, and then later in the game in the second half, take some of those same runs and bounce them to the outside.
3rd and about a yard.
They better not run at Leon Lett here because they can't handle him.
Waters and Saxon behind Cunningham. Waters Didn't get it.
Didn't handle Leon Lett either. They didn't run at Leon Lett. They ran away from Leon Lett, and he still made the play. You talk about a defensive player who's going to dominate a game. Watch, they're going to run to Leon Lett's left. They try and cut him, and they can't do that. He just jumps over it,
just
gets penetration, runs it down, and stops it so that they have to punt. He is dominating this first half.
Hutton will punt, and Deion Sanders is deep, and he'll get another chance. Almost broke it. Tripped up at the 21, but he almost broke another one. Which team has played in and won the most playoff games? That's our Aflac trivia question. Which team has played in and won the most playoff games?
There are definite reasons we...
Nothing on TV. Check out TV's Funniest Couple and find out why tying the knot has never been so twisted. On a brand new Ned and Stacy, Monday at 9, 8 Central, here on Fox. 10-3 Dallas in this divisional playoff game. Cowboys ball at their own 21. Darrell Johnston on the move behind Aikman. And Emmitt Smith gets the carry.
You know, they're finally giving Deion Sanders a rest now. He was on offense, and then he was on the special teams, and then he was on defense, and he finally gets a rest.
6:35 make it left in the first half, with the Cowboys leading 10-3. The only touchdown by Deion Sanders on a reverse that he turned in from nothing into something.
And then he came right back and played the whole series on defense and right back on special teams again. That's like the old days.
Aikman to Kevin Williams. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Again, let's send you back to James Brown in Hollywood.
All right, Pat, New Year's Day, 1978, Dallas and Minnesota for the NFC title. No contest. Tony Dorsett rolls into the end zone, helping the Cowboys manhandle the Vikes 23-6. Dallas goes on to win Super Bowl 12. Back to Pat and John.
Back at Texas Stadium, and Deion Sanders is in with the offensive unit.
You know, an interesting thing, Pat, is Michael Irvin has yet to catch a ball.
Bobby Taylor's done a good job. Emmitt Smith outside the 35. Again, our Aflac trivia question: which team has played in and won the most playoff games? And the answer: the Dallas Cowboys have played in 47 playoff games. They have 28 victories.
And
so you get there a lot, you play a lot, don't you?
And you'd think another team that would be up there is the Miami Dolphins, and and Don Shula and the job that he's done over his career, winning more games than any coach in the history of the game. And he retired this year, and he was one of the great ones. We wish him our best.
Here's Aikman going deep. He's got a man wide open this time. Kevin Williams was behind everybody. Michael Zordich finally knocked him out of bounds, but that's got to be a mix-up in coverage somewhere for him to get that open.
Watch him. He's right out here, and it looks like one of those things that McMillan was playing zone, and he expected a safety. He expected Michael Zordich to get in there behind him, and Zordich didn't get over. But I think even if it were a zone, McMillan, if he's going to do that, he has to bump Williams when he comes off the line. He just kind of let him go, and Zordich didn't get over, and Troy Aikman was smart enough to find it, see it, and get it to Kevin Williams.
On first down, Aikman fakes to Smith. Up the middle, Darrell Johnson, and the moves it down to 1. Romanowski tripped him up.
Now the Cowboys are starting to look like the Cowboys. They want to stop Michael Irvin. They want to double him. They want to do all these things. Then they start going to Kevin Williams. They go to Jay Novacek. And now they go to Darrell Johnston. Watch, you're just going to get the Moose here. Now, you don't expect this. You don't expect from the I formation the Moose to get deep. He runs a flat, and then he just comes up and then runs into the post. That is a heck of a pattern by a fullback. It started to a flat, then up, then post. Woo! Who would have thought?
Nobody knew the ball was loose, but he was down. Johnston with Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt Smith, touchdown, Dallas.
Now the Cowboys are looking like the Cowboys.
Emmett got 25 touchdowns to set an all-time record in the regular season. And he is proud of that. And should be. Bonio for the extra point. He's also proud of the touchdown he just scored. On that drive, Aikman was 3 out of 3 for 72 yards. Big one to Williams, big one to Johnston. 13-3 in this divisional playoff. The last meeting against the Eagles, the total offense for the Cowboys was 196 yards. That was in Philadelphia. They've already exceeded that today.
Yeah, the Cowboys have had that, you know, that bye week, that week off, and it's starting to show. They look very, very sharp and very, very fresh in the second period.
The ball bounces between Garner's legs and down to Watts. Robert Bailey knocks Garner down at the 1-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will start.
And a kickoff isn't like a punt. You can't let it roll. You have to field the kickoff. This thing takes a funny bounce. Charlie Garner, I think, intended to field it all the way. And then he looked and it went between his legs. Now, he has to pick up that ball, because if he doesn't, if the Cowboys get that ball, it's live, and it would have been the Cowboys' ball right there.
They finally mark it down at the 3, but the Eagles start deep in their own territory, and Randall Cunningham is still their quarterback. He's been in situations like this before, but he hasn't practiced this week, as John Madden pointed out a moment ago. Only once. Cunningham goes deep. Incomplete, but flags all over the place. Chris T. Jones was the intended receiver.
This is going to be an interesting one, but when they say bring it up here, it's going to be against the Cowboys. It's going to be on defense. When the official throws it and stays there and says, come on here.
Number 24 of the defense. First down.
That's going to be against the defense. Here's Larry Brown right here. Chris T. Jones is number 82. And you see now they're beyond the 5 yards. The ball is in the air. I don't know. There's just a lot of bumping there. This is a tough thing. I mean, they have to do something in the offseason on this pass interference rule.
You're right about that. Here's Cunningham back to throw. Chase from behind, but Cunningham can run and does. Brock Marion tripped him up. Randall Cunningham, because of the injury to Rodney Peete, is the quarterback, and here is where Darren Woodson hit Peete as he scrambled for a first down.
Yeah, this was a third down play. Darren Woodson hits him right there at the end of the play. I guess just knocked him out. Darren Woodson has that kind of power. We talk about fights and heavyweight fights and getting ready for him. That was a heavyweight punch by Darren Woodson.
Cunningham gives to Ricky Waters. Waters gets an Eagle first down, crosses the 50, gets into Dallas territory. Remember, the Cowboys led the last time these two teams met, 17-6 at the half at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Eagles came back to win it.
And I'm sure that's what both coaches are thinking about right now, and I'm sure both coaches are going to talk about that at halftime. You know, Barry Switzer is going to say, hey, you know, we had this. It was like this last time. We let it go away. Ray Rhodes is going to say, hey, we were here before and we whipped them, so let's go do it again.
3 wide receivers. Carpenter's the man in motion. Cunningham back to throw. The blitz is on. They had a screen call. They had a right call. But Cunningham didn't have time to get it to Waters.
I mean, you know, it's been the Leon Letters all over the place. I mean, he didn't come in that rush, but he was the guy that read that screen. Watch Leon Lett here. He's going to see the screen. They got the blitz. He goes in. He's going back in coverage now. That's one of those zone blitzes. And then he was out there reading that screen.
So did Shante Carver.
Yeah, I think if I were the Cowboys, I think I would let Leon Lett rush the passer every down. I don't think I'd drop him out of there.
Second
down. The other guys out, not Leon.
2nd and 10. Cunningham back to throw. Protection is pretty good this time, but the pass is not. Ricky Waters, the intended receiver, covered by Darren Smith and covered very well.
And I think Cunningham was probably smart not to throw a good pass there because, like I said, Darren Smith was right there with Ricky Waters. And if he would have thrown the pass well, I think he was probably throwing it as much away from Darren Smith as he was trying to get it to Ricky Waters.
Brings up 3rd and 10. They'll get one more play before the 2-minute warning. 17-3, Cowboys leading. Three wide receivers. Cunningham back to throw it. Rushed by Tolbert, and Tolbert had him. Fumble. But he was down.
Antone Davis had trouble with Tony Tolbert in the first game, too. Tolbert that time just went right around Antone Davis. And you're going to see, here's Antone Davis right here. Watch Tolbert. He just hits him, just goes right around him, right beyond him. Woo. The Cowboys are coming on defense now.
2-minute warning. 17-3, Cowboys lead it. Championship game as the Green Bay Packers take on either the Dallas Cowboys or these Eagles. Don't miss the excitement as the playoff race concludes with the final showdown on the road to the Super Bowl. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Deion Sanders back deep.
And the whole stadium is yelling, Deion, 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 and he was leading them there.
Yep. Hutton back to punt it for the Eagles. Good kick, and Sanders will have his chance. He gets away from it now, and it bounces into the end zone.
He just tricked him there. He was trying to stand there as long as he could. Knew that he was on the 10-yard line. The old rule, if you're on the 10 and the ball goes over your head, just let it go into the end zone because you get the ball back on the 20.
He tricked me, too.
You know, we talk about matchups. That was one right there that we just saw that it was one of the good ones today when Eric Williams, and we'll see it right now, Eric Williams going against William Fuller. That's a real battle. I remember 3 years ago where Eric Williams beat William Fuller about as bad as an offensive tackle can beat a defensive end.
Well, he took himself out of the game finally.
Eric Williams isn't what Eric Williams used to be, but he's still awfully tough and awfully good.
Emmett Smith stopped by William Thomas.
Because they've been going after it all day. You know, every time that they pass, it's been Fuller against Eric Williams, and again, I think Eric Williams is winning that battle today, as is the whole, especially in this second period, as is the whole offensive line of the Cowboys.
2nd and 7. Kevin Williams comes wide left. Irvin's up to the right. Aikman's back to throw it. Lofts it in the direction of Michael Irvin. Incomplete. 1 minute and 6 seconds left to play in the first half.
Yeah, we were talking about the battle. Here's Eric Williams. Here's William Fuller. Now just watch how they keep going. This was one in the last series that was thrown to Daryl Johnston. But what? Battle, battle, battle. Balls thrown. They don't know from that. I mean, watch. I mean, they're still going. One got one face mask. The other guy got the other guy's face mask. Referee in there. Plays over. I mean, but those guys just go after it. Like Eric Williams said, when I put a helmet on, I'm a different guy.
Deion Sanders is lined up in the slot to the left as the Eagles quickly take a timeout. Maybe they weren't quite ready for it. So it's a Philadelphia timeout. They have 2 left. They're also coming to race. Bus versus blimp. They're coming any way they can. It's the Little Caesars 12th annual All-Madden team.
Yeah, last time we were here, we raced that blimp. You know that.
I remember.
Yeah, we raced it and beat it.
Was it easy?
No, it wasn't easy. From here to Tyler, it was tied. Then we got him after we got to Tyler.
Well, that's not very far.
I know it. It's still Texas.
Aikman gives it to Emmett Smith. And Emmett is short of a first down by a couple.
You just see how strong Larry Allen is. I mean, I think that He's not only the best guard in football, but one of the best offensive linemen, period. But just watch him when he pulls out here, and he's going to come out here, and he just stays on his feet and just kind of bumps the guy and just knocks him off. Watch 73 here. Watch him right there. Boom. So he just knocks him off, and then just that little bump, that creates about a 5-yard running space for Emmitt Smith.
So the Cowboys will have to punt. Rob Carpenter's back deep. This is John Jett. And his kick chases Carpenter all the way back to his 21-yard line where he slipped down. There's a flag thrown over in front of the Eagle bench.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's a flag and 2 hats. So it's going to be one of those things out of bounds again because it was on the outside guy running down the field. So when you see the officials again, flags and hats. You see 2 hatless officials, that means something bad happened out of bounds. Because the guy in this weather doesn't want to throw his hat, because if you lose your heat, you always lose it through the top of your head.
So you need a hat.
You always want to keep your hat on. You don't want to throw your hat unless you really have to.
We have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the receiving team. Number 45 going out of bounds and hit a kicking team player while during the kick. The enforcement is from the spot where possession changed. Half the distance to the goal.
You see here, the guy going down the field gets hit out of bounds right there. That's what
twice we had that happen.
Yeah. Well, it was 2 times you see the officials without their hats. You know that's what they're going to call.
We haven't seen that call but once or twice all year long, and twice already in the first half of this game.
See how heat does come out of the top of your head? Look at it, just coming off at Nate's head there. That's where it escapes. If you have heat in your body and you want to let it out, you take your hat off.
Yeah.
You know, what you could do is you could have a barbecue on that head.
Nate's got a lot of room to let it out.
Yeah. I mean, you could cook like some burgers on there. Look at, now you're talking. I mean, this is football. When you got steam coming out of your head and your mouth, now you're talking football. You're controlling that offensive line. This is what it's all about. It's a playoff game. If you win, you go to the championship. Well, what are you talking about?
Here's Randall Cunningham back to throw. Pass is complete to Calvin Williams. Enough for an Eagle first down. They used 1 timeout, so they have 2 left. Now he's in a hurry up. Cunningham, pass caught. Calvin Williams, the receiver. Now they take their 2nd timeout.
One thing for not practicing and for not playing much this year, Randall Cunningham looks pretty sharp and pretty confident.
Yeah, his throws have been very sharp.
And he looks relaxed, and maybe sometimes, you know, that does help some guys when they don't know they're going to play, because they don't have all that, you know, all that tenseness build up and all that stuff. They're kind of, in fact, Randall Cunningham was so relaxed they had to pump air in his helmet before they put him in.
Don't forget, coming up on the Dockers halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. First half highlights, Indianapolis, Kansas City preview, and Brett Favre will be interviewed.
Yeah, what a job Brett Favre has done in the Green Bay Packers. Congratulations to them, to Mike Holmgren, and I'll tell you another guy in that organization who really doesn't get enough credit is Ron Wolf.
Right.
He's the guy that, you know, brought Mike Holmgren in, put that team together, traded for Brett Favre. And I'll tell you, he has done an excellent job in that whole organization, and to see them in a championship game, it kind of gives you goosebumps, reminds you of the old days.
2nd and 1. 21 seconds left to play in the first half. 17-3. Cunningham fires complete. Fumble picked up by Fred Barnett. And the Eagles strike quickly. The clock's still running. They haven't called a timeout yet. Now the clock is stopped with 8 seconds.
Like I said, Randall Cunningham looks very sharp, very cool, very confident, and he's getting his receivers open. And, you know, this is something that they can regroup at halftime and maybe put some passing together, because they thought they were going to have to run to win this game, but the way they're getting receivers open, and Randall Cunningham is throwing. That may be a bigger part of the second half of this game.
That was Rob Carpenter who made the reception, and that is Carpenter that they're checking out right now.
It's also Rob Carpenter who fumbled. You're going to see the hit right there. It's that third hit. He had one in front of him, a second one in front of him, and then it was a third one that really got him.
That was the recovery by Barnett. The reception was by Carpenter.
Yeah, you can see Carpenter right there. They're getting the back of his right shoulder. See the miss there. Then he gets off of that one. Then there's that hit right there. In fact, it was right on his right shoulder. It was a hit there by Darren Smith that caused both the fumble and the injury. And they're rubbing the area right about the spot that Darren Smith put his helmet on Rob Carpenter.
10 seconds remain. They put 2 back on the clock. 17-3. Remember the score was 17-6 in Philadelphia. The fake is to Waters, and the pass from Cunningham in the direction of Chris T. Jones is incomplete.
You know, Pat, the reason that they moved that ball back, that on the fumble, on the fourth down fumble in the last 2 minutes, the only guy that can recover it is the guy that fumbled it. Or the only guy that can advance it is the guy that fumbled it. So Barnett cannot advance it.
The Eagle, who is being looked at now, is Mo Elanowibi, the backup left tackle. Long, a Redskin, another of those players brought to Philadelphia by Ray Rhodes. 6 seconds, 17-3.
There's Mo Elanowibi right up there. He's the left tackle, and he starts to block a stunt right there. And you see what happened is he got his left leg up in the air, and then when he went to plant it, he got pushed. And that whole thing just collapsed. Watches him. He's starting to get pushed there by Chad Hennings, and he gets it up in the air, and then as he puts it down, Chad Hennings just overpowers him and powers him right into the ground.
Mo is still down. Don't forget, next Sunday on Fox, it's the NFC Championship game as the Green Bay Packers take on either the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. So don't miss the excitement as the playoff race concludes with the final showdown on the road to the Super Bowl. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. If Dallas wins, Green Bay will come here. If Philadelphia wins, Green Bay will entertain.
You can see they're bringing the card out there for Mo Elanowibi. The Eagles are, at this point here, 54 yards. If they were to kick a field goal or try a field goal, it would be a 54-yard field goal for Gary Anderson. With 5 seconds left, it's a tough situation whether they can get another play and still have time to try the field goal.
54 yards, if they don't move it, is a little long for him.
Yeah, and then
he's very accurate. But
right, and 5 seconds is a little short.
Yep.
You know, so you're kind of in the bind there, and it looks like they're not even going to try Gary Anderson here. That you know, you're not going to get both. You're not going to have time to, because they have no timeouts. It's going to be tough to complete a pass, get it out of bounds, and then get in there within 5 seconds.
Anderson is 0 for 3 this year during the regular season, over 50 yards.
You know, and Chad Hennings is so strong as we see Mo Elanowibi going off the field. That was just one of those things where you're blocking a very strong man, like maybe the strongest man on this Dallas Cowboy team, and you're playing on artificial turf and you don't have your feet in the proper position. A lot of times you get caught where the only thing that can go is a joint.
A little rough with Mo. Dropping him down on the stretcher.
There's one of the real good trainers in this league.
Let's go down to Pam Oliver and find out if we can what's going on with Rodney Peete.
Well, Pat, we've been stationed outside of the locker room the whole time, and what I understand is that he's just been lying down the whole time. He still has his uniform on. Apparently that kick to the head did some damage. We're waiting for further word. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. As John Madden was just saying to me a minute ago, they probably, almost certainly now, we won't see Rodney Peete until the end of the half if we do then.
Well, you know, a lot of those things, when someone gets kicked in the head or, you know, a head injury, you're going to take every precaution you can. And so you get him in there and just tell him to rest, and then you look it over and evaluate it at halftime. You can see that Mo Elowanibi, that this is much more serious than a halftime evaluation. He's not going to be back.
That is a Texas-sized chariot he's in. That's almost as big as your bus.
Yeah.
Don't forget, again, coming up, the Dockers halftime. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy, scores and highlights. Interview with Brett Favre. You know, I was listening yesterday to an interview with Steve Young. The 49ers deserve a lot of credit as well for being the class organization that they are and the kind of people that play for that team and work for that team. They did a heck of a job, too, defending. I'm sure they don't think so today, but
no. And you know, they lost that last game to Atlanta, and that's what gave the Dallas Cowboys the home field advantage throughout if they win today.
Well, you think about the people they lost. Ricky Waters, who's here, and the starting fullback William Floyd.
How about the other guy who's here, Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
They lost two pretty big guys that are here today.
2nd and 10. Cunningham, the quarterback, back to throw it. Going deep. Deion Sanders. And there is no flag.
That's what they were hoping for, because you know that the end of the game or the half can't end on a penalty. There was no penalty, so the half was ended.
Pass was intended for Calvin Williams. Sanders is back there with him. That's the end of the half. And the Dallas Cowboys lead the Philadelphia Eagles 17-3 at Texas Stadium.
Nice pass.
And welcome to the Dockers halftime, along with Jimmy, Howie, and Terry. I'm James Brown. At half right now, my goodness, 17-3. Most exciting play of the first half,
well,
Terry.
You got to figure this man's going to make a play eventually. Deion Sanders coming in reverse one side. Eagles do a great job of blocking. He turns around with that great speed. This puts the Cowboys up 10-3. Then Darrell Johnson with a big 27-yard reception sets up a 1-yard Emmitt Smith run. His 26th of the year. 17-3 Cowboys at the half.
It was 17-6 at the half in Week 15. Jimmy, there appeared to be some indications to show that Dallas was ready from the start today.
Well, JB, without question, this team's ready to play. Now, I know it is a similar score to what they had the last time, but they've already gotten more yardage in the first half than they had in the entire game the last time they played. The offensive and defensive lines, Leon leading the defensive line, and that offensive line's moving people back off the ball, and Emmitt Smith's making some runs.
Yeah, the little dogs are playing big, and the big dogs are playing big. It's been a war so far. We knew it was going to be a fight. Dallas obviously was ready to play. The question is, what will be said at halftime, considering the similarities in the two scores?
All right, some big dogs will be playing in the AFC Divisional playoff game coming up later today. And our own Eric Clemens will be in Kansas City for the game between the Colts and the Chiefs. And he's standing by with a preview look. Eric.
All right, JB. The Colts surprised San Diego last week by changing their attack just a little bit, but you got to figure the Chiefs won't be as easy to fool because they, too, watched last week's game. And even though they were quite impressed with the play of quarterback Jim Harbaugh, they won't be surprised, and Harbaugh knows it.
I look at Kansas City as being a little tougher defense, and maybe they don't have the glaring, like last week we felt we could really play action the Chargers. And there's nothing like that that just stands out like, okay, going into this game, we know we can exploit.
Yeah, he's a very tough-nosed quarterback, and he's a very quick, and he can scramble a lot, and that's going to be one of the problems that if we have any problems, we'll be facing on Sunday. The guys, scrambles and still get off the ball and find a receiver.
Let's talk about the weather. As you can probably tell, I'm cold. They'll play the first half under sunny skies with temps in the low 20s, falling into the teens. And in the second half, when the sun sets at 5:10 p.m. local time, it'll be bitterly cold, temperatures in the single digits. And before I freeze my digits off, let's send it back to warm Hollywood and James Brown.
All right, Eric. Howie says he couldn't tell that you were blushing, though. Well, speaking of a tough-nosed quarterback, Terry Bradshaw has been grinning all afternoon because Brett Favre, the league MVP, we'll talk with him next. In Green Bay is the league's MVP, Brett Favre. And Brett, as we start things off, I thought this was supposed to be a difficult year for you without Sterling Sharp. You're spreading the ball around, 38 touchdowns in the regular season. What happened to you?
I think we just got a chance to execute. I think when Sterling announced his retirement, our offensive line, our running backs, our receivers, everyone was excited because we got
been your key target, your tight end. But yesterday, we saw Keith Jackson doing what he did so well for so many years in Philadelphia and Miami. This pass down the middle, a 35-yarder. Why was he such a big factor yesterday?
Well, for the first time for us studying film, they played a little bit of non-coverage, too deep coverage. And if that happens, our tight ends have to get open down the middle, beat the middle backer. Keith did that and made some great catches and some good runs afterwards.
Your coach, Mike Holmgren, looked like he had you guys playing awfully loose. Was that the case?
It was. You know, we had nothing to lose. I think everyone was just excited about being there and said, hey, whatever happens, happens. We're going to go out, and we're a pretty good football team. It's time to show people that.
You know, you're only 26 years old, Brett, but folks talk about how cocky you are as well. Is that a big part of the reason why you are successful?
Well, I don't know if you want to call it cocky as opposed to confident. I think that I'm going to play well every time I get on the field. And if you don't believe that, then you probably won't. And when we go out there and win and play well, it's a good feeling, and we like to show it a little bit.
You know, you and I talk a lot alike. We're from the same part of the woods, but then you got a new contract coming. I mean, here on national television, I still got my 10% coming when you get the big bucks.
You know it, Terry.
Okay, but
wow, Bradshaw's been kissing up to you all season long, Brett, so why should it change now? Congratulations on a big victory, good season, and continued success. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Brett Favre live from Green Bay. So that wraps it up from here, and we'll rejoin Pat Summerall and John Madden for the second half of the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys in Irving, Texas after this.
Halftime at Texas Stadium, the Cowboys lead the Eagles 17-3. Randall Cunningham at quarterback when the first half came to a conclusion. This is Rodney Peete. As he scrambled for a first down, stopped by and hit by Darren Woodson. And here is another look at it. Woodson, a powerful guy. And he stopped Peete short of the first down. Let's go down for a report on the condition of Rodney Peete to Pam Oliver.
Well, Pat, as you know, Rodney Peete has been in that locker room for a very long time. He had on his uniform for most of that time. The word is that he will not return. He is out with a concussion. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. So it will be Randall Cunningham for the Eagles for, I guess, the rest of the second half. They do have a third quarterback, but Cunningham will carry the load 17-3. The home team is 28-5 when they lead. There's Randall Cunningham, number 12. His wife, as John Madden said to you earlier, had a baby this past week. He left their training base in Vero Beach, went to Las Vegas, just got back and had 1 day with the team.
Yeah, they thought that he would be back for practice on Friday. He got back late Friday, didn't make practice on Friday, but did make a short workout that they had there yesterday before they came here to Dallas.
Anderson's kickoff is short. Going to be handled by Kevin Williams. Got some room. Hit by Rob Carpenter, and that was almost a touchdown saving tackle. Halftime statistics.
You know, if you look at the last time they played, the game was a lot like this. I mean, you look at the score was 17-6. Today it's 17-3. The rush yards were about the same. You can see the pass yards today are a lot more. but, you know, and the first downs were about the same. Time of possession is close, and this was the way that the first half was played last time. And, of course, the Cowboys don't want the second half to be played like it was last time, and the Eagles do.
Aikman gives to Emmitt Smith. Left side for about 3. Kurt Govea made the stop. Mo Elowanibi, who you might recall was injured with about 10 seconds left to go in the first half, has knee damage and will not return.
Yeah, he tore a patella tendon. Watch Larry Allen here. I mean, when he just gets someone, I mean, they get on Andy Harmon, and poor Andy Harmon, you know, tries to get turned, and the only thing that he can do is, in the old days, you used to tell a nose tackle like that, grab grass, just get down and grab grass on artificial turn, just get down and grab some rug.
This is Emmitt Smith behind Larry Allen. Into Eagle territory.
Larry Allen is still hitting guys. He got little Mark McMillan, who weighs 145 pounds. That was the last one. But watch him here when he pulls. I mean, you know, when he pulls and hits a guy, he doesn't slow up or stop. I mean, he's like 320 pounds a guy coming. Now, boom, I mean, they turn and twist and get out of the way. Then he just keeps going, and then he ends up hitting old McMillan.
He is a house and a horse and a good player.
Yeah, he's if he doesn't watch out, he's going to be a great player.
Aikman back to throw it. Eagle had a rush on. It's for Kevin Williams. He's open at the 15, down to the 14.
That's the way you have that big guard come and hit Mark McMillan, who weighs 145 pounds, and then you throw a deep pass on him. Troy Aikman made a heck of a move there because there was a blitz coming free, and he had to get away from that. Then he had to find Kevin Williams, who beat Mark McMillan. Watch, he's going to get a blitz straight up the middle there. He gets out of the way, dodges that one, finds Kevin Williams, who has beaten Mark McMillan, and he makes a perfect throw to him. You have to give a lot of credit to that one to Troy Aikman because they left one for him.
At the 14, 1st and 10 Dallas. Evans and Smith down near the 10. Daniel Stubbs made the stop.
You know, one of the things that we said today is if they're going to double Michael Irvin and take him out of the game, which they have, he hasn't caught any passes, then Kevin Williams had to come up big. And he has, look, 5 catches, 104 yards, average 20.8. Those are Alvin Harper type numbers.
Now that's the shoes that he has filled this year, and filled much better than most people think. Smith. Shook one tackle, shook a couple, gets down to about the 7.
He had William Thomas out there who's going to the Pro Bowl. Number 51, and Emmitt Smith made a move on William Thomas and picked up about another 5 yards. Watch him. He's going to start out here to the left, and watch the move that he makes on number 51. I mean, he has him right there, and he just runs right around and right through him. Then he gets by Govea. He made 2 of those Eagle linebackers miss on that play.
3rd and 3. Rolls right, throw to Johnston. And the Moose still on his feet. Gets the first down and knocked out of bounds.
Now they could yell, Moose, Moose. Now they'll get it.
Good effort by Darrell Johnston. He would not have had the first.
Well, he didn't, and that's why Troy Aikman is coming up to him, because he knows that he had to throw that one short. And Moose has to get, he doesn't have it here. He doesn't have it here, but he gets it right there. I mean, he even put his left hand down, and he ran all 3 points. You call that 3 points when you have 2 feet in the ground and 1 hand. He did some of it 2-footed and some of it 3-pointed.
That's what a Moose can do. Emmitt Smith out to Darrell Johnston. Aikman was a little late. Greg Jackson could have come up with that one and done some damage.
And it would have done a heck of a lot of damage, because if he would have come up with that one, he would have went all the way with it. But just the first thing on any play fake is you have to have a good fake. Now he didn't get the ball to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt Smith didn't really make a good ball fake. and it didn't do anything. The guy he was trying to throw to, it didn't do anything at all to Greg Jackson.
2nd and goal at the 2. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt knocked down for a loss and swarmed on by that Eagle defense led by Andy Harmon. And he lost yards.
Yeah, you know, Ray Rhodes, this is the type of thing that he talks about, you know, being physical with them, everyone swarming to the ball, gang tackling, all those kinds of things. That's what he wants. That's what he teaches. That's what he's always taught as a defensive coach, as a defensive coordinator, and as a head coach.
It's 3rd and goal back at the 6 now.
Barry Switzer saying, I hate 3rd down calls.
They had it at the 2. It was 2nd and goal at the 2.
Now they have to pass.
Aikman has time. Gets it down to Novacek at about the 1-yard line.
Novacek is saying touchdown.
Said he had his feet in the end zone, but his feet don't count. He did have his feet in there.
It's where the ball is. The ball has to break the plane of the end zone. But if Jay Novacek argues, you know, he's usually pretty good. I mean, he's right down here. He gets hit right here. The ball is right there.
He's not in.
No, he's not close. I mean, here's the ball. Jay, your feet don't count, so the ball should be spotted or right there. When you go down, it's where the ball is. I don't know what, and unless he was arguing that he was illegally bumped coming off the line of scrimmage.
In any case, the Cowboys with Novacek holding and Boniol kicking will try a field goal. Boniol gets it. He's Super 2 today and 27 in a row. And the Cowboys move ahead 20-3.
By Nissan, it's time to expect more from a car. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. By American Express. And by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
You know, Jay Novacek didn't get the touchdown, but watch him complain. He wasn't complaining that he had a touchdown. Look at he grabs his own shirt there, and what he's doing is he's complaining about Bill Romanowski. He's saying Romanowski held me on that play. See how he grabbed himself there? That was what he was complaining about.
And Romanowski did. This is Chris T. Jones to return the kickoff. Gets out to about the 26. Charlie Williams.
And here it is. Here's Jay Novacek, and watch Bill Romanowski, number 53 on him. Hits him in the face, grabs his jersey. He completely mauls him, but they don't call it.
Dallas leads 20-3 in the 3rd. 20-3, the Cowboys. The Eagles have the ball at their own 26. Ricky Waters gets the carry on the toss from Cunningham. Chased out of bounds by Larry Brown.
You know, and the Cowboy defense has done an excellent job of stopping the run, and then that makes this tough too. See, because the quarterbacks have been sacked twice, hurried 4 times, knocked down 5 times, forced to scramble 4 times. And then, of course, this one here, Rodney Peete, has been knocked out of the game. And it's tougher to pass when you can't run, because then the defense can tee off, and that's what this Cowboy defense is doing.
Here's Cunningham back to throw, and he's hit by Tony Tolbert.
That's what we were just talking about. You try and run on 1st down, you don't make anything. Now it becomes 2nd and long, and now they just tee off.
There's Jim Eddy.
Yeah, Jim Eddy is down there. He's a linebacker coach, but he's helping out on the sideline this week because of John Blake, who has gone to become the head coach of the University of Oklahoma. There's Tony Tolbert there. He's going to come underneath. You see, he starts up, then he feels a hole here, and he goes right into Randall Cunningham. But because they couldn't run, then they got in that long yardage situation, and now the Cowboys' defensive line could just tee off.
3rd and 16. They didn't get the playoff in time, I don't believe.
No, they never recovered from that sack by Tony Tolbert.
Maybe they took a timeout. I'm just not sure yet.
See who was trying to calm them down? Ricky Waters was in the huddle saying, calm down, everyone take it easy. Just calm down. That was a penalty, though.
They walked it off against him. 3rd and 21.
Yep, double H's come out when that happens.
And the crowd really starting to get into it now. This is something that the Cowboy players have been asking for all week long.
Yeah, but they have to do something to earn it, and the Cowboy team is earning it today.
4 wide receivers. Cunningham back to throw it. Pumps. Fires. Larry Brown, the defender. No flags this time. Fred Barnett, the intended receiver.
This Cowboy defense is doing a good job now because, again, they've been able to stop the run. They've been able to stop Charlie Gardner. They've been able to stop Ricky Waters. And then they've been able to make the Eagle offense one-dimensional. Whereas this guy here can be exciting, too. He's ready to excite this crowd now.
He scored the first touchdown. Bad kick. Sanders watches it go out of bounds. It turned out to be better after that big high bounce than the Eagles could have hoped for. Sanders couldn't handle it, and it bounced out of bounds. Barry Wilburn shaken up on the play, but he seems to be okay. Dallas first down at their own 41. Emmett Smith is deep. Flags all over the place.
That was Daniel Stubbs. He just came running right through there.
5 yards. It's still first down.
Still first down.
Yep, someone had to move, and Stubbs saw it.
Tuanay, I think.
I think it was Tuanay. Here's Mark Tuanay here. Here's Stubbs here. Anytime you're taught on defense, anytime that you see anyone move, and it was Tuanay, the minute that Tuanay moves, Stubbs is going to make sure that they see it because he's just going to run and jump right through.
1st and 15. Deion Sanders split wide to the left. Irvin to the right. Novacek on the move. And Aikman will throw. Eagles had a blitz. Sanders makes the catch. Stuck the ball out and then pulled it back.
The Deion Sanders must be in great shape now because he always wanted to play offense, wanted to return kicks, wanted to cover the best guy on defense. And then how are you going to do it all? Well, today he's doing it, and maybe he was saving it. If Deion Sanders is worth the money that they're paying him, he's going to earn the money today and next week and 2 weeks from then.
2nd and short, a 14-yard pickup on that completion from Aikman to Sanders. This is Emmett Smith, and Emmett gets the first down and bowls in to Philadelphia territory. Again, let's send you back to Hollywood. James Brown for a McDonald's game break.
All right, Pat, 1980, Texas Stadium, the site of a Tom Landry milestone. The coach gets his 200th career win in a wild card game against the Rams, thanks mainly to Tony Dorsett. 160 yards rushing, still a Cowboys playoff record. Back to Irving, Texas, Pat and John.
First down, Dallas at the Philadelphia 45-yard line. This is Emmitt Smith again. Emmitt, still on his feet, comes near a first down and about the 35. Bill Romanowski finally brought him down.
Emmitt Smith is starting to run like Emmitt Smith again. And watch Nate Newton here. This is how it starts. Nate's going to pull out. Then he has to stop. He gets a guy there. He gets Stubbs there. That makes the corner. In other words, he turns to the outside, and then he squares himself, and then he gets Daniel Stubbs and forces him to the inside, and that gives the corner to Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith, the 5th player in postseason history to rush for over 1,000 yards.
And he has 90 yards so far.
2nd and 4. Harold Johnston falls forward close to a first down. The other 4, by the way, who gained over 1,000 are Franco Harris, Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, and Thurman Thomas. Not enough for a first down.
In fact, I think they could have lost yardage on that down. Again, they get penetration. Number 94 is Kevin Johnson. You see, he gets past Nate Newton right there. Nate didn't get him. Nate made a heck of a block on the play before that. And that time, Nate let Kevin Johnson get inside him with penetration.
3rd and short. Emmitt Smith will get it with that second spin.
Yeah, Daniel Stubbs came from the outside and almost got Emmitt Smith before he got to it, though. There's one area the Cowboys have trouble against this Eagle team.
Short yardage.
Yeah, Barry Switzer is saying, whew, I've had too many of those things.
It's almost like the Eagles know the snap count instead of the Cowboys.
Watch what Emmitt Smith has to go through just to gain about a half a yard. See, Andy Harmon gets a penetration down there. Daniel Stubbs comes across, and Emmitt Smith just has to keep those legs going and hope to get beyond that marker.
The Eagles coming with a blitz on Aikman, and down he goes. Daniel Stubbs was there first. Gouveia was coming up the middle.
Yeah, Stubbs that time went to the other side. And they just didn't get it blocked. Stubbs is going to come. See what they're doing is they're giving him more blitz, and he's coming from the right side now. You see, he just comes right up the middle. They get pressure from the right side, pressure from the back side. They just didn't get all the guys blocked. Watch number 54, Kurt Gouveia. He comes on a delayed blitz. Stubbs gets there first, and Gouveia gets there second.
Stubbs went inside to an A.
Yeah, remember, Stubbs used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, there's a deli here that has a sandwich named after Stubbs, and it's the most popular sandwich on the Cowboy team.
Not just with the team, with the broadcast group here, too.
You can't beat a good Stubbs.
They're delicious. The Dallas Cowboys leading this game summary brought to you by Budweiser. Deion Sanders scored the first touchdown on a 21-yard run on a reverse that he turned from nothing into something. Rodney Peete went out with a concussion. 2nd and 19 as Aikman breaks him out. There at the Philadelphia 43.
Larry Allen moved on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, once those linemen get set and they put that hand out, they can't move at all. They can't even flinch. When you get like 330 pounds like Larry Allen, you just kind of move some of your stuff up above, they can jump off sides.
That's a big flinch.
Well, that was. I mean, you just move some stuff up above.
Jerry Austin.
Yeah, there wasn't only one official that saw Larry Allen move his stuff. There were 2 of them throwing at his stuff moving.
Deion Sanders in the offensive scheme now for the Cowboys. He split wide left.
I bet you he's been in over 10 plays on offense today.
I know he has. Aikman. Michael Irvin had it. It was a good throw. It just got away.
One thing that Ray Rhodes talked about is taking Michael Irvin out of the game, and for all intent and purposes, he's done that. Now, Bobby Taylor's been on him all day, but that doesn't mean that Bobby Taylor doesn't have help. You see, Bobby Taylor has deep help, so therefore he can play underneath him. Now, Michael Irvin just dropped that ball.
That's a good throw.
It was a good throw, and it had to be a good throw because Bobby Taylor was underneath him, and then they had the safety in behind him. So Troy Aikman had to get it to Irvin between Bobby Taylor and the safety behind, and he did it.
Irvin yet to catch a pass today. Here's Aikman. Novacek. Novacek.
You know, Pat, Eric Williams is getting back to be Eric Williams that I used to think was the best offensive lineman in football, because he can pick up stunts and then give Aikman time to find guys downfield. Just watch him here, how you have to be able to start on a guy, he goes inside, push him up, and then come back and get the outside guy. See, those are the types of things that he couldn't do before, that he's starting to do now again.
This is Chris Bonio from 51 yards now with Novacek holding. That's going to get there. And it's good. And Dallas moves further in front. 23-3. The Cowboys 23, the Eagles 3 in the third quarter with 2:44 left. Number 40 is Bill Bates right next to the kicker. And we have seen him And anybody who's ever watched Dallas play has seen him run down on a lot of kickoffs.
Bully Bill Bates. Remember grammar school.
Short kick handled by Christy Jones.
And any time at the end of the play that you look there, you're going to find Bates right around there. I mean, just watch him. This is what he's always done best. I mean, just come on, you take on blockers, and then you don't let them knock you down or sideways or anything. You just keep going until you find that ball carrier. It takes special guys to run down on kickoffs and special guys to be the wedge buster that runs down right next to the kicker. Bill Bates has been doing it as well as anyone for 13 years.
Well, if you want to pick out a special guy, you'd pick Bill Bates.
Didn't Tom Landry once say that?
Yep. Cunningham gives to Ricky Waters, and he gets very little.
You know, 23-3, Pat, that's the way to get this crowd in the game. Like you said, the players were talking about it during the week. Barry Switzer talked about, you know, let's get the crowd in the game, make noise and all that stuff. Get ahead and play like this, and that'll do it. Now, there's a guy who's having fun. When we talked to him yesterday, he said, don't say I'm not having fun. Will you? He said, do me a favor and say I'm having fun. He doesn't look like he's having fun, though. Looks like he has the whole weight of the world on his shoulder.
Cunningham back to throw, incomplete. Intended for Rob Carpenter, slipped through his hand.
Hey, Pat, here's Charles Haley right here. Now, an interesting thing, he had back surgery a few weeks ago. If the Cowboys win today, he's going to fly to Los Angeles tomorrow, have the doctor who did the surgery check him, and then he's going to try and play next week. If the Cowboys win, he wants to play in a championship game next week.
Right now they lead 23-3 with a minute 55 left in the third quarter. Randall Cunningham back to throw if he has time. Cunningham comes out of the pocket and scrambles for a first down.
This is where he's always been tough. You know, the Cowboys are in their nickel defense. In fact, 7 defensive backs. So they have all their defensive backs in there. And they all go and turn and go into coverage. So once Randall Cunningham gets by that rush group, he almost has an automatic first down. Of course, being down 20 points, you can't do that all day either.
Hennings and Maryland are inside. Tolbert and Shante Carver outside the defensive front 4. 1st and 10, Philadelphia. Cunningham gets it up the middle. Fred Barnett makes the catch for about a gain of 9.
See, because the Eagles haven't been able to run, now the Cowboys are just playing every down like it's a passing down. I mean, they're still playing their 6 and 7 defensive backs on first down.
2nd and 1. 2 tight ends for the Eagles. Here's Cunningham back to throw it. And complete to Calvin Williams. And that'll be enough for an Eagle first down at the Cowboy 36.
You know, and that's one thing that the Eagles, just before halftime, remember when Randall Cunningham came in there, they looked like they were going to be able to do this. I thought they would get to this earlier than they did in this second half, because they can, if they can get the pass protection, and the 2 guys they've had trouble with have been Leon Lett and Tony Tolbert. If they can get them handled, they can do some damage throwing the ball.
First down. Cunningham has a blitz come after him. Dixon Edwards. Godfrey Miles, I beg your pardon. Godfrey Miles came on a blitz.
And that's that zone blitz again. You're going to see Chad Hennings here. He's going to drop out. Chad Hennings is right there in the middle. You see him drop out? That's a zone blitz where they drop the defensive line and bring the linebacker. Drop Hennings, bring Godfrey Miles.
That's the end of the third quarter. The Cowboys up 23-3.
Sylvester Stallone.
It's a stadium where the Cowboys lead the Eagles 23-3. If the Cowboys hang on, and when they'll entertain the Packers next week. If Philadelphia comes back, the championship game will be in Green Bay. 2nd, 17. Cunningham chased out of the pocket. Fires. Incomplete. And I mean fires. He really cut loose.
I didn't know that he didn't hit Ricky Waters in the head.
I think he did.
Yeah, because he started a scramble, and as he was scrambling, he got outside of Tony Tolbert, and then he's telling Waters to go deep, and he did. He just zapped him right in the back of the old noggin. Ricky Waters was going deep. He wasn't open. It wouldn't have made any difference unless he would have put his hands where his head was.
3rd and 17. Around the corner, pass is intended for Calvin Williams and is knocked down. Here comes the Eagle punting unit. I thought they might go for a first, but it's too far. 4th and 17, that's too much.
Well, at some point they have to consider going for it because they need 20 points, so they're thinking in terms of 3 scores.
Deion Sanders signals fair catch and makes it at about the 9, maybe the 10. (23-3). The Cowboys take over.
Off Special is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Pizza Hut, home of stuffed crust pizza. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car, pick Enterprise, we'll pick you up. And by Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
14:42 left to play. Dallas leading Philadelphia 23-3. At the end of this game, John and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. Dallas ball, the pitch is back to Evan Smith. Beg your pardon, that's Sherman Williams.
Look at this, what they have now. About this electronic imaging, where they take the picture and then they can say print of any picture they want. So they just pull it out. They have a sideline picture and an end zone picture. See, the thing is, the guy has 2 buttons, and anytime that he wants that picture that comes off that screen printed, he pushes print. And then that picture is printed, then that becomes a still shot, then they can use it on the sideline.
Aikman to Darrell Johnston. Not enough for a first. That's the Eagles sideline.
You see, they have the same thing on the Eagles sideline, only in a traveling case, but they got the print, and then as they bring out the play, they write down what the situation was. And then the coach takes it, then he goes over and he shows his defensive players what they were doing offensively and what their adjustment should be defensively.
3rd and short. That's a little bit more sophisticated, I would imagine, than what you had.
Well, yeah, we used to have a guy up in the booth, you know, with the coaches, and he would just take a Polaroid shot and then just give him the Polaroid there.
Right. That's what we had, except they threw it out of the upper deck in an old dirty sock.
I remember that. They threw it in a rock or something. Put a rock in a sock and throw it out of the stadium down to the sideline.
That's exactly what happened. At about the 26. With 11:16 left to play. It's Dallas 23, Philadelphia 3. Playoff. Dallas 23, Philadelphia 3. We're in the 4th quarter with 11:16 left to play. As you look at big Eric Williams, he's getting closer and closer to being back to 100%.
Yeah, I think if you would tell me you could start a team and take 3 guys from the Cowboys, he would be one of them I'd take.
Here's Cunningham back to throw and throwing deep. Incomplete. It was intended for Carpenter. And now again, let's go back to Hollywood. James Brown and the McDonald's game break.
Hey, Pat, I know you know this. NFC Championship game 2 years ago, Jimmy Johnson guaranteeing a Cowboys victory. MVP Emmitt Smith led the way. Jimmy was proven right. Cowboys win easily and go on to defeat Buffalo for their 4th Super Bowl title. Take it back to Pat and John.
We remember that one well, JB. Eagles at their own 28. Cunningham back to throw. Gets rid of it. Pass is complete to Christy Jones.
Defending on the play, Deion Sanders.
You know, the thing Leon led is still really teeing off on Guy McIntyre and raising havoc back there with Randall Cunningham. And a lot of the reason is it goes back that the Eagles haven't been able to run today. And now the score, 23-3, it's too late. But they stopped, the Cowboy defense stopped the run first. I mean, look at Thunder and Lightning. I mean, 10 times, 31 yards, 5 times, 13 yards, that's nothing. And that's good Cowboy defense.
That's no Thunder or Lightning. Flag on the play as Cunningham bounces one down to Larry Brown. Fred Barnett, the intended receiver.
Yeah, and then what happened, and then because of that, then the Eagles, if they were going to do anything, they had to pass the ball, and then the Cowboys went into their nickel defense and started rushing the pass wherever play, and it's been tough.
Number 96 of the defense, 5 yards, 3 feet, first down.
Shante Carver is number 96. He is saying he was pulled offsides by one of the Eagle offensive linemen.
It'll be interesting. Shante Carver is playing Charles Haley's position out there, and this Dallas defense is playing pretty well today, but they aren't 75% of what they can be when they have Charles Haley.
1st and 5. Cunningham back. Incomplete. Rob Carpenter, intended receiver, covered by Darren Smith.
There's a guy that's played a good game today. It's Darren Smith. I mean, all that short stuff that the Eagles have been trying to hit, whether it be to a tight end or a running back, it seems like Darren Smith has always been right there with them.
He, of course, is very fast. Missed a lot of the early part of the season. Held out. Finally came back. He'll be one of the 3-4 linebackers that are all free agents for the Cowboys.
Sure, Jerry Jones is just thinking about, let's do this year first, then we'll get to that one.
Pass incomplete. Cunningham behind Barnett.
And he did throw it on Deion Sanders. There's not a lot of patterns that you can throw on Deion Sanders. Most people think they can throw slants and crosses, but here they are here. Here's Deion Sanders here, and outs are tough to throw against him because he will jump and out. That time he didn't jump that one at all. I think Deion's a little tired. He's played offense, he's played defense, he's played special teams, and he's not jumping on coverage the way he was when he's fresh.
It's 3rd and 5. Cunningham chased out of the pocket by Lett. Lobs it down to Barnett. Barnett tried to one-handed, and it's incomplete.
That was a pretty good play there by Deion Sanders because he knocked Barnett down, but he was covering Calvin Williams. He wasn't on Fred Barnett. He was on Calvin Williams, and he comes off of Calvin Williams. See him here? He was out there covering the outside guy, and he seasoned the ball in the air and jumped on that one because no one was covering Fred Barnett.
Fine kick. Sanders lets it go over his head, and it goes into the end zone and out. And the Cowboys will start from their own 20 with 10:26 left to play. As a 56-yard punt by Hutton. 23-3. The Cowboys moving closer. Newsweek magazine says Saturday Night Live is out. Mad TV is in. Tonight you're going to see the wildest, funniest, most outrageous skits of the season on the best of Mad TV tonight after Married with Children on Fox. First down, Dallas at their own 20. Sherman Williams is the running back in place of Emmitt Smith. Aikman will throw. Kevin Williams. Covered by McMillan, but complete as Kevin Williams has done an excellent job.
Yeah, and Ray Rhodes thought that Mark McMillan would be able to match up with Kevin Williams, but he hasn't today.
No.
I mean, really, Kevin Williams has gotten the best of that matchup. And how about this matchup here? We talked about before the game, where Emmitt Smith said that the Cowboys go as these front guys go. Well, if that's true, they rushed for 125 yards. They've only allowed 1 sack. And to me, that is the group that makes the Cowboys go and made them go today.
Williams to the 45.
Nate blocked his guy down 10 yards, Pat. I've never seen that before. I mean, he had his guy, he took his guy and drove him 10 yards deep. I mean, he's going to block against Kevin Johnson. Watch, here's Big Nate. That has to be Big Nate. Now watch, here's Big Nate right here. Now he has his guy, and he takes him back. There's 5, there's 6, there's 7. Watch him. He still got him, and he takes him. If he gets him to that line, that's 12. Nate Newton blocked his guy 12 yards deep. Now you're talking. That's some blocking.
Here comes an Eagle blitz. That's Sherman Williams.
Sherman Williams sets up to the 49.
Just short.
Bill Romanowski.
Just brought to my attention that because of the weather on the East Coast, even if the Eagles lose and they're headed in that direction, they can't get out of Dallas because the weather is so bad on the East Coast. A lot of snow in the East.
And that's, I mean, the job that the Eagles have done and Ray Rhodes has done and this whole team has done it. You know, even if they do lose, they're still proud of, you know, of the getting to this thing.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
Ray Rhodes would never say that. He would never said we just want to get to the playoffs or win a playoff game. It's always been a Super Bowl.
Ball start. Number 73 of the offense, 10 yards, is still 3rd down.
Call against Larry Allen.
But you have to respect the job that Ray Rhodes did. Jeffrey Lurie, you know, hired Ray Rhodes. He was like his 5th choice. He came in here and brought a bunch of players in that had championship, Super Bowl experience, surrounded himself with a bunch of good young coaches. Coach like heck, Guy McIntyre said, I've never hit so much in my life in practice, and Ray Rhodes never takes the pads off. He did it his way, and he has this team pointed in the right direction.
Aikman to throw. Deion Sanders just out of his reach. He was open. He was open. Yeah, well open.
Yeah, Bobby Taylor was on him that time. They were trying to zone him. Oh, hey, they're still going there. There was an overhand left, and the Brogans to the other area.
This started, you recall, we were talking about it earlier, started a couple of years ago in a match between Eric Williams and Fuller.
Here's the last play. Here's Eric Williams right here. Here's Fuller right here. They're still out there talking. But again, Eric Williams is one guy who's going to finish off his blocks, and he'll do anything to get a block. He grabbed Fuller by the face mask, threw him down. Now watch Fuller here. Eric Williams takes a punch. Fuller takes a kick. Oof.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 79 of the offense. That penalty is declined. We have personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 79 of the offense. That penalty will be enforced. 15 yards. 4th down.
Well, he said yesterday that when I put on the helmet, I become a different person.
But this is an old story. You know, we talked about William Fuller, and it goes back where Fuller was taken out of a game because Eric Williams had beaten him so bad. Ray Rhodes even told a story when he first came here, because Fuller's a leader, he wouldn't show the team. They wouldn't show the team that film because he didn't want to see his team leader getting beaten the way Eric Williams was beating Fuller.
John Jett back to punt. Rob Carpenter deep. Jett's kick is a good one. Carpenter signals fair catch. Makes it at about the 21-yard line. 22 perhaps.
But I'll tell you,
50-yard punt, excuse me.
I was just saying, you can tell that Eric Williams is back, though. I mean, he came back from that car accident. He said he came back too early, and he played the whole year and kind of struggled through it. And wasn't the old Eric Williams that, to me, was the best offensive lineman in all of football, but the way he's playing today, he's starting to look like the old Eric Williams.
First and 10 Eagles at their own 21.
Yeah, you have to love that about offensive tackle like Eric Williams to pour ice water on his head on a day like this, huh?
Ricky Waters over the left side. You have to wonder about it. He must have really been hot.
No, you wonder about it. I mean, you like that.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're an offensive lineman, that has to make sense to you. If that doesn't make sense to you, when the sweat's coming out the top of your head and you throw ice water on it, then you're probably like a wide receiver. But see, Nate looks at it, he's looking at it, and he says, yeah, that's a good move, Big E.
7:25 left to play. Cunningham has the pass broken up. Intended for Reggie Johnson.
Yeah, Scott Case broke it up. He's in there as a safety because they've been playing almost this whole second half in just a nickel defense or 6 or 7 defensive backs, and Scott Case is that extra defensive back that comes in and plays as a safety.
3rd and 6. They're 2 out of 11 on 3rd down. 3 wide receivers for the Eagles. Cunningham back to throw it. Picked off by Deion Sanders.
He was out of bounds. He tried to lateral it after he was out of bounds.
But the Cowboys do get the ball.
Something's broken out over there. One thing about Deion, when he does get the ball, you know, whether you like him or you kind of like him or you don't like him, he does cause excitement.
He does do that. Here's the interception.
Even if he's inbounds or out of bounds, he's covering Calvin Williams here. Gets a good jump. That's that out that I was talking about, that he'll jump, and he jumped it then, made the move, goes out of bounds, and says, now maybe I'll lateral it.
That Ricky Waters, his old teammate that slung him to the ground.
Yeah, but watch him get the jump on this out. I mean, he was ready to jump right in front of it. Now he got that high step, and the Waters knocks him out of bounds, and he's trying to make a rugby play.
This is Sherman Williams around the corner. Down to the 11. Greg Jackson made the stop.
You know, the thing is they don't throw the ball at Deion a lot. You see, they've only thrown to him 3 times, but when they do throw at him, it can be coming back at you quickly.
As it just did. Sherman Williams got the first down. It's Cowboy first down at the Eagle 11.
So Deion had that interception there, and then, of course, he also had that reverse for a touchdown.
Williams again inside the 10. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd down, Cowboys.
Williams is still fired up, and that time, you know, if it's not with Fuller now, it was with Andy Harmon that last play. In fact, I don't even think Fuller's in the game anymore.
No, he's not.
Eric Williams will take whoever they leave in there.
Touchdown, Michael Irvin.
That's his first catch of the day, too.
Yep. Yards, Aikman to Irvin.
Take them away most of the day. Can't take them away all day. See, that was that same move that Bobby Taylor had been given earlier. He gave that inside punch, then did a spin move, and then tried to come back on it.
Bonio for the extra point. And the Cowboys move ever closer to entertaining the Packers next week at Texas Stadium. final showdown on the road to the Super Bowl. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. If it's here, it's going to be Dallas and Green Bay. And that's what it looks like. Saxon returns the kickoff out to about the 35. Michael Irvin, his first catch, a touchdown catch, his only catch. The Dallas defense has done a job today.
Well, of course, here's the big one, only allowing 3 points, but they sacked the quarterback 4 times, forced 8 punts, allowed 9 first downs, only 162 yards total offense. That's not bad.
Nope. That'll win you most games.
And they did it without Charles Haley, and there is a possibility that they will have Charles Haley next week.
The handoff is to Ricky Waters, who slips down behind the line of scrimmage. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Rich Russo. The broadcast associates Mike Roig and Fran Morrison. Stage manager is Rich Nelson. Studio was produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. 2nd and 11.
Now, the Green Bay Packers are probably watching this, and right now they figure, well, we can go start working on Dallas.
Cunningham down by Hennings.
There's another guy that's played pretty well today, Chad Hennings. He was a guy that's been rushing the passers, been dropping out on those zone blitzes. He was a guy that Mo Elowanibi was blocking when he tore his patella tendon
just earlier
in the game.
Buckled him.
I'll tell you, the guy who really dominated when the score was 0-0 and early in the game and has been all game is Leon Lett.
Without a doubt. Flag on the play. Cunningham throws a screen to Waters. Ricky Waters gets out near a first down, but the flag was thrown way back early in the play.
I think that's against Shante Carver. I think the Dallas Cowboy defense jumped, so that was really a free play if that were true.
.4:15 left to play. Dallas 30, Philadelphia 3.
Offside, number 96 in the defense. Penalty is declined.
Yeah, it was Shante Carver. You see him right up there. He's going to jump, and he's going to get in the neutral zone. The neutral zone being the length of the football.
He couldn't get it all back.
And then that gives Randall Cunningham a free play. If he sees that or knows that, you can just go back and just throw anything.
4th and 2. Cunningham took advantage of it. 4th and 2. Waters and Saxon behind Cunningham. Cunningham's going to throw. Pulls it back. Gets it out to Waters. Ricky Waters slipped down at the 40. He juked Brock Marion, got by him, and then slid down. 19-yard gain, an Eagle first down. Clock running at less than 4 minutes now. Leon Lett, the big cat, under that hood.
Yep, he sure is, and he was a dominating player today. When Charles Haley was there, Charles Haley is a dominating pass rusher, and when Charles Haley isn't there, someone has to pick that up, and Leon Lett picked it up.
Here's Cunningham, who fires complete. The count of Williams gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 3:27 left to play. And Michael Irvin and Larry Allen.
Yeah, going over there because those guys know. I mean, Michael Irvin is a wide receiver. Emmitt Smith is a running back. Troy Aikman, the quarterback. They're all important, but they all go over to that offensive line because if it's not for those guys, these 30 points don't go up there.
And they have done the job.
How about what Troy Aikman gave the offensive line for Christmas?
They had a big Christmas. Here's Ricky Waters down to about the 20.
You know what he gave him? He gave him a wooden box with pens in it. He gave him all wooden rocking chairs. He gave him a suit. He gave him airline tickets to anywhere they wanted to go, and gave him dinner, and he said he gave him stuff for the kids. Now that's
a big package.
Well, Nate Newton said that Troy asked him to be on the show, you know, with you and Troy Aikman. And you asked him, did you get paid? And Nate said, hey, when Troy calls, I come running.
Here's Cunningham. Firing and too high. In the end zone for Fred Barnett.
The only thing
I think I'd come running too if I got all that for Christmas.
Yeah, and then the rocking chair. I don't know what those big linemen, I mean, those better be big old heavy duty rocking chairs. And you know, Nate says that when he gets his rocking chair, he's going to put it on a porch when he gets through playing, and he's just going to sit in that rocking chair, and for the first 6 months after he retires,
just going to rock.
He's not even going to rock it. No, he's not even going to rock it. He's just going to do nothing, not even rock the rocking chair.
Job he's done today, he doesn't need to think about retiring.
Did you see Nate block a guy 12 yards downfield today?
Cunningham got the pass complete to Carpenter out of bounds. It'll be 1st and goal for the Eagles.
That's when you can throw on Deion Sanders late in the game. They call this that fade. Where he's just going to go up the field and just throw it right there. And you can throw it short with a fade stop. Or if you can get over the top, then it's just a regular fade. I think that's that fade stop. That's what they're trying to do, where you try and run that fade and then you stop, you throw it at any point during the fade move.
1st and goal. Waters in motion. Cunningham's going to run the quarterback draw, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Randall Cunningham. 4 yards out. Cunningham gets in.
Yeah, now he's going to go for 2. Everyone's saying, geez, they make it look so easy at this point. But again, you know, you're taking score and you're taking time. And that's what the Cowboys are doing is they're playing a form of a prevent defense. They got a lot of backup players in there. The adrenaline's not flowing like it was earlier. And then the Eagles just march down the field and get one.
Cunningham has Waters behind him, fakes to Waters, throws for the 2-point conversion to Reggie Johnson. So the Cowboy lead is now 30-11 with 2:36 left to play.
And we'll probably have an onside kick now. Once you get a touchdown, then go for 2. The next thing we'll be looking for is an onside kick before this post-game report.
That's coming up with all the guys back in the studio after the game. Jimmy, Terry, Howie, JB. And the Packers will be traveling south.
You know, and the Packers haven't matched up well with the Cowboys. They've had trouble matching up well, and I'll tell you what they've had trouble with. They've had trouble with that inside and stopping that inside run. But the Packers are a better team now than the Packer team that lost to the Cowboys earlier this year and in the playoffs last year. But this is the guy that they could never stop.
Right. And he's had a little rest with Sherman Williams playing.
Remember that last time they played here and we had that shot and Reggie White was talking to his teammates and he says, every time we come here, every time we play these guys, this happens to us.
Reggie said we come down here and we get our butt kicked and you guys don't seem to care.
Well, I think the Green Bay Packers care now.
I think you're indeed right about that.
Here's the old onside kick. Crooked ball and everything.
Anderson has it fielded by Jay Novacek. The hands team, and the Cowboys will take over. Chad Henning.
There's an amazing guy. I mean, I just can't believe this. The guy has a bad ankle. He has a bad knee. They get a game. He misses a game. He has surgery, and he's back. And as you said, we went there the other day, and it was cold, and all the guys have all their clothes and stuff on, and he's running around in shorts
and running well.
And plays a game 2 weeks after surgery. That's the 90s. Or maybe that's guys from the 70s playing in the 90s.
Maybe. David Lang's a fullback. Sherman Williams a tailback. Sherman gets down for about 9 yards.
Now, this was a good onside kick by Anderson. Watch, it's going to go 1, 2, 3. Now skip up high. Boom. There it did. That was a perfect kick. Jay Novacek made a heck of a play.
He really did.
But that's what you guys try and do. I mean, you put that ball sideways, right? Then you try and get it short, jump.
Wade Wilson's now the quarterback. Yeah, that's what you try to do.
Jay Novacek rides cutting horses. One time I said I didn't know what the heck I was talking about, and I said he cuts horses.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, and then
we got a lot of mail.
Yeah, well, and then he came up and told me. He said, "Let me explain to you." He said, "I ride cutting horses that cut. I think they cut cattle."
That's right.
Do.
That's right.
And he was explaining to me, and I'm nodding like I know, and he rides cutting horses. Then they have, special saddles for cutting horses.
It used to be when they had cattle on the range and what have you, they'd cut them out and put the brand on them. That's where the name came from. They cut out the cows, put my brand on them, your brand, whatever.
And that's what Jay does now, huh?
Well, he plays tight end for the Cowboys when he's not cutting.
Well, the other guy that does that is Bum Phillips. Bum Phillips was a big cutting horse guy.
He has a bigger horse.
And a bigger saddle. But, the Cowboys, from Thanksgiving on, to be honest, they didn't look like the Cowboys. No. They didn't. You knew they were one of the best teams, but they didn't play like it. Today, they played like it again.
Well, it looked like, as Wade Wilson gives to Sherman Williams, it looked as if other teams, the opponents, had figured out what they were doing and took away the Michael Irvins. Took away Emmitt Smith, got hurt on Thanksgiving Day. Eagle timeout here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did, and they did that today. I mean, they took Michael Irvin away today. He only caught that one pass right there at the end of the game, but Ernie Zampese did a good job of play calling, because that's what Ray Rhodes was talking about last night. He said, what you try and do is you try and get the rhythm of the coordinator. And he said that we played against Ernie Zampese for years,
right,
in Dallas and Los Angeles, and he said he does have a certain rhythm, and you try and get your defense to know his rhythm and to get into that rhythm. But today they weren't able to do it. I think that Ernie and his rhythm beat the Eagles' rhythm.
In championship games, by the way, one of the things they said was that Kevin Williams had to step up and take some of the load off Michael Irvin, and he did. He caught 6 passes for 124 yards. The championship game notes we started to say a minute ago, the Packers lead in championship games, including that Ice Bowl game. Packers are up 2-0.
That Ice Bowl game, that was in 1967, right?
Yes.
And then that was when we played the Packers in Super Bowl II.
That's right. This is Sherman Williams. He dodged about 10 people. Stopped finally by McMillan. Barry Switzer was saying, and he deserves some congratulations too. Barry Switzer to get the Cowboys this far, regular season record of 12-4. He's come under a lot of fire, a lot of criticism, but he's still done a commendable job. But I'm sorry, they just scored and went for the 2 points and got it. Leon Lett, we have picked, John Madden and I, as our Miller Lite player of the game. When the score was close, the Eagles just couldn't get him blocked.
Now, and if the Eagles were going to win today, they had to be able to run the ball, and they had to be able to run the ball for about 140 yards. And if they were going to do that, they had to get Leon Lett blocked. He didn't let them run early and then stop that. Then he started the pass rush and really dominated the game when the game was up for grabs.
Now it's 4th and short.
Look at Larry Allen there.
He's signal first down.
He's signal first down. When you get your old guard, he's been in there fighting all day. And he just goes and gives the signal first down. Barry Switzer doesn't look like he's too excited about this, because I think this is a thing about the Dallas Cowboys. I think, everyone says, is Troy Aikman happy? There's so much expected of them that winning this game is nothing. They had to get to this game. They have to win this game. Winning next game is nothing. They have to win the next game, and they have to get to. The only thing that is acceptable here in Dallas is winning the Super Bowl.
Wade Wilson goes into the kneel, and the clock continues to run with 1 minute and 5 seconds left.
And now Troy Aikman can have some fun because he can see the end. He can see the light at the end of the tunnel because, as we said today earlier, it's a 2-game season. Now for the Dallas Cowboys, I mean a 3-game season. Now for the Dallas Cowboys, it's a 2-game season. If you just win 2 more games, you are the Super Bowl champions. You're the champions of the world. When you get that close, you got to get it done. But the Green Bay Packers are thinking the same thing.
Again, Wade Wilson kneels. That should do it. 30-11. Third time these two teams have played. The Cowboys won 2, and the Eagles won 1. Bring on the Cheeseheads. Well, they might be wishing for a little more than what Green Bay has been in the past when they came to Texas Stadium. They're a better team now.
The Cheeseheads, we saw them 2 weeks ago. We watched them on television yesterday, and I think the Cheeseheads are ready to come to Dallas.
So for John Madden and Pam Oliver, I'm Pat Summerall saying so long from Texas Stadium, where the final score was Dallas 30, Philadelphia 11. Be sure to stay tuned for the post-game report. James Brown, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Jimmy Johnson will be along from our Hollywood studio. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Leaving the field, there's quite a crowd where it is very cold down here, and the Colts have received some very bad news this morning. Their defensive tackle, Tony Siragusa, is out of the game. He is suffering from a very bad case of the flu. He is back in the hotel room, similar to Bruce Smith. He will not play. Now, as for the field and its conditions, last night they covered it with a tarp. They blew in a bunch of hot air. It didn't help much because now the field is frozen. Guys are trying to decide on cleats and spikes. They can't use any of it. The field is frozen, so they will just use turf shoes. Greg, it's very cold out here. Back to you.
All right, Jim, great. Thanks a lot. You know, and you guys complain about the air conditioning in here from time to time. Joe Gibbs, what are the pitfalls facing the Colts today?
Well, I think in order for them to win this game, Harbaugh's got to have a great day. In order for him to do that, they really have to protect him. The offensive line for Indy's had a tough time doing that in the past, and they're going up against the 3rd best pass rush team in the league.
Mike, how about Kansas City?
Well, you know, Kansas City, I think everybody will give them the fact that they got a great defense, and they got probably a defense and get them to the Super Bowl. They worry about the offense. What bothers me is Bono. He's 56.3% completion. With that kind of an offense, I think that's awfully low. Plus, he only got 12 TD passes. He's got to step it up today against that defense, because that defense plays pretty good.
And, Joe, Steve Bono and the Kansas City offense was looking much better at the beginning of the season. What's happened?
Well, one of the things that Marty Schottenheimer believes is that is in a good defense. And when his defense is playing well, he tends to pull back the reins just a little bit on that offense, because he believes if you take care of the football on offense, that the defense will eventually win the football game for you.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer is one hungry head coach, and with more on him, here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Greg. Only one coach has taken his team to the playoffs every year in the 90s, and that's Marty Schottenheimer. Of the 5 coaches that remain in this year's playoffs, none have taken a team to the Super Bowl, something Marty desperately wants to do. He spoke to his former teammate at Buffalo, Paul McGuire.
We started at the beginning with one phrase: focus, finish, let's go.
You've always had stability in your life. And some people would say maybe stubbornness. When do you cross that line? Because you are a stubborn coach at times.
Well, I feel very fortunate, Paul, to have had the stability in my life that I've had. And I think very simply, you have certain basic principles and philosophies that you believe in. I think the worst thing you can do in coaching is try to satisfy everybody.
I'm doing this because if we don't make it, I'm counting on this bunch to keep our ass pinned down.
And if, in fact, you fail, you at least can say, I did it my way.
And what is your feeling, your observations now that you have a little time to absorb it, Shula walking away? Mm-hmm. He's a great friend of yours.
He's a very, very good friend, and he will ultimately, in my view, be recognized as the finest coach in the history of the National Football League, because what he has done is he has been able to win. He's been able to do it within the rules. He's been able to do it through various years and systems and philosophies relative to the way the game has changed. And when you can combine excellence with longevity, you can't get it any better than that.
When would you walk away?
Probably when I was no longer willing to compete. That's what we do in this business, is we compete.
Boom! Victory! Victory! Kneel on the ball.
If I were to reach a point that the competition was not, you know, so exhilarating, if I didn't want to compete any longer, then I would get out.
Let's remember what I said. Those two little letters, W-E, we. Those two little letters, U-S, us. They're powerful. They're powerful. Great job. That's it.
You know, Joe, we only get a chance to see Marty Schottenheimer like this in this situation. You played for the man. What kind of coach was he?
Well, what you heard in that interview was Marty. What you saw in that interview was not Marty. He is very excitable. He loves getting in a huddle, screaming, yelling. And the one thing about him is that you always knew where you stood. You may not like what you hear from him, but he's going to tell you the way it is. He's a player's kind of coach because he really does think he's still a player. And he's the kind of guy that when, you know, guys go out for a beer or so, he'd want to come with you. Not because he wanted to see what kind of trouble you guys are into, but he's just that kind of guy. He'd like to go with you.
And Mike, similarities between the two of you, especially in terms of being fierce competitors.
Well, he's a great competitor. When I was thinking about all the mistakes that have been made in football this year, especially Modell's mistake of moving his team out of Cleveland. But think about the mistake he made a number of years ago when he let this guy go for no reason. This guy is one of the finest coaches ever to hit the National Football League. And if you want to see who Don Shula's personal choice would be to follow him in, I don't care who the owner won. The owner might want Jimmy Johnson, but Don would love to have this guy follow him in. Marty Schottenheimer would be his personal choice, believe me.
All right, Mike, up next, if your team falls behind, who do you call on? Captain Comeback. We'll hear from the coach, Jim Harbaugh, right after these messages.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by RCA, changing entertainment again. By the U.S. Navy, you and the Navy, full speed ahead. And by Subway, now that's a sandwich.
Colts quarterback Jim Harbaugh, probably the most valuable player in the AFC this season. His ability to improvise and make plays is what gives the underdog Colts hope today against the Chiefs. In the Sports Illustrated NFL preview issue last August, there was a list of 10 players to watch for 1995. It said that Colts quarterback Craig Erickson would become a household name. Well, actually, Erickson has spent most of the year watching Jim Harbaugh become a star. Harbaugh spoke with Greg.
Something's always wrong. Something's always wrong.
That whole '93 season when I played for Chicago Bears, Dave Wannstedt's first year as the coach, you know, just being booed from the opening snap of preseason to the final snap of the season, and then Dave waving me at the end of the season, and you know, basically telling me I wasn't good enough to play there, and there was one week in particular that I remember. It was the same week Dave waved me, lost my job, my girlfriend broke up with me, my dog had parvo and just about died, so felt like I was living a country music song.
As this Indy transformation has taken place, has your reaction been, oh, well, this is nice, or it's about time?
Just that it's nice. I don't really have any, you know, like, told you so type of thing. I'm, you know, I'm just a guy, just a person, just a very normal person.
Do you like this Captain Comeback nickname?
It's better than a lot of the other things I've been called in my career, so...
Any of those that you can say on television?
No, not too many, not too many.
Your dad's the football coach at Western Kentucky. You still doing recruiting for him?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's appreciate it if you got that on the air, because we're in the recruiting wars right now.
Do you have a coach-player relationship with your dad as well as a father-son?
Not as much as you know, when I was growing up, and he'd be taking me out in the backyard, showing me how to throw, showing me how to make my drops, telling me about reads and everything like that. Now it's just pretty strictly just father-son and or head coach to assistant coach.
I think it's a safe guess to say that you've probably learned something a little different or a little unique from each of your coaches. Just in a couple of words, what did you learn from Bo Schembechler?
That the team was the most important thing. Just the way he led his life, the character that he had. I just thought he was a great leader, great for the game of football.
What'd you learn from Mike Ditka?
The thing I could sum up with Mike Ditka is the whole Iron Mike persona that he is. I just looked at him and where he came from, and this is a person that could almost, his will and his belief in himself can carry him to do anything that he wants to do in life.
And how about from Lindy and Fadi and Ted Marchibroda?
You know, Ted's been in the game over 30 years, and Lindy his success is so well documented with all the great quarterbacks that he's coached, and you know, if he can get me to Pro Bowl, then you know, I'm convinced he's a genius.
Just a regular old guy with a great rating as a quarterback. But one of the things you like about him is he makes big plays.
He does, Ahmad. It's not very often we have a chance just to see how important a player is to a team. But just